Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hey, everybody, before we get started with the show, we have a big announcement for you guys. The Shut Up and Give Me Murder Tour is coming to you. Small Town Murder live shows. These are live podcasts, just like you like to listen to, like we do from the studio, but live with you there. Right in front of you. Going to be so much fun here. April 5th, Los Angeles, California. April 7th, San Diego, California. April 14th, San Francisco, California. April 15th, Sacramento, California. April 20th, 420 in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be insane. April 22nd, Seattle, Washington. April 26th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. April 27th, Chicago, Illinois. And wrapping it up with April the 28th in New York City. Oh, baby. We're so excited. We can't wait. Get all your tickets and all the information over at shutupandgivememurder.com/live. Tickets will go on sale February the 16th for all these shows. Also, don't forget March 25th in Phoenix at Stand Up Live. All the links are in the show description. Come out, tell us to shut up and give you murder. Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another exciting, action-packed edition of Crime in Sports. God, are we pumped today. We have a crazy episode today, dipping into the brain damage sports. Oh, man. We have brain damage and drugs and violence, and what a crazy-ass story we have for you. But before we get to all that, first of all, you guys heard about the live shows coming up, all those Small Town Murder live shows. Get to Crime and Sports this weekend. Boston. Laugh Boston, February the 18th, 4 p.m. is Crime and Sports. That's the only live Crime and Sports we have on the books right now. Everything else is Small Town Murder. So get there, sell that bad boy out, and they will be forced to book it at more locations, more venues. So everybody, pressure people you know in Boston to make sure that is sold out, so then maybe we can go to your city and see you.
We'd love that.
We would love that. Absolutely love that. And to that show, you should wear your Crime and Sports gear. And you can get that over at crimeandsports.threadless.com. And that is everything you could need for all your small town murder and crime and sports needs. Shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, bath
hats
mats.
Hats
are coming, yes. They don't have them on the site. That's why we don't have them available. We'd like to give them to you, but
They'll be available eventually.
They will
I'd really love undies to be available.
And aprons, I know, is a big
women's,
thing.
Yeah, aprons would be great, too.
So please do that. And also, thank you guys for all of your iTunes reviews this week. We forgot to mention we went over 4,000, which is great. We're pushing toward 5. Thank you guys so much. So important, those iTunes reviews. I know. It's so stupid. We have to ask in the beginning of every show. And we hate to do it. We'd love to just go, hey, how you doing? Here's a moron. But we have to clear up this stuff, and then we'll give you like 2 hours plus of, we might be an ad now and then, but we'll give you plenty of show to ad ratio. We can't do we're not these people who do a 45-minute show and put 4 ads in it. We're not going to. If we do 4 ads, it's going to be a 2-hour plus show because you're going to get a half hour of content to an ad usually. There you go. That's kind of our policy.
Pretty good policy. There's no TV show that'll do that for you.
No, that's our policy. And what's like a minute and a half, and we even try to make the ads funny. We even try to make them listenable.
Doing our best.
But yes, thank you guys for that. The iTunes reviews are so huge. It's on the business end. It's iTunes and their damn funky algorithm. It's not us. So please go over to iTunes and give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter.
And the ads that we do have, we believe in the product.
And we've turned stuff down, like a bunch of stuff.
Believe that.
Like if we don't think it's good or we don't like it. Yeah, there's certain products where we're just like, I don't think we don't want to
I don't want to tell my audience that doesn't like that stuff about that stuff.
So there is stuff. So yeah, we're not just grabbing money. We try to be conscientious about the whole thing.
Ones that we like, that we think that you'll like. That's it.
But on iTunes, please, all you need to do, tell us you're following instructions, following directions on there in the review. It's not a big deal. It's not for our ego. If you want to do more, if you want to be a superstar in our hearts and in our minds, you can be one of those people. Like we're going to talk about later. Our producers, our executive producers, such a great list of awesome people. You can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports, and you can make a donation there. And we're blown away by every damn cent we get. And thank you so much for everything. Yeah. And if you want to make a one-time donation, you can do that, and it is just as appreciated.
It is.
Over at PayPal, you can just use our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com, to do that. And like we said, that's just as appreciated. We're blown away by every damn penny we get. So thank you guys so much. And every dime counts, so thank you. And also, listen again. Listen to Small Town Murder. You guys know you should be doing that. If you're not, you're missing out, because it's us
for sure
making fun of Small Town Murder. So you need to check that out. And also, if you want to hear me get angry and yell more, listen to P.S. I Hate This Movie, where myself and my wife, Sarah Hunt, make fun of bad romantic comedies, and I get super angry most of the time. And she is funny and I'm angry. So that's how it works. So listen to that. Never mind all of that shit, though, now, Jimmy. We have a story for you today.
Okay.
Wow. Like I said, brain damage, drugs, violence, it's all here. It's all here. This is Tony Ayala plus Tommy Morrison.
Oh, great.
Divided by Edwin Valero. That's what we have here today for you. So, judging by those three stories, if you're a Crime and Sports listener from the beginning, you know that this is going to be a goddamn insane batshit fest. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's talk about our gentleman of the hour, Esteban de Jesus.
Don't know that name.
You don't know that name. Okay. Esteban de Jesus.
And that's a brain damage sport. I'm guessing boxing.
This is boxing. Yeah. He is a world-class, phenomenal back in the day boxer.
That was very racist of me to assume that was not a running back in the NFL.
Esteban de Jesus, especially maybe right this minute, but back any other time, Esteban de Jesus is possibly a kicker and nobody else.
Nobody else.
There's never been an Esteban de Jesus playing offensive tackle in the NFL. It's never happened once, ever. No. Not a lot of starting centers either in the NBA named Esteban de Jesus, for that matter. A second baseman, maybe. You could have guessed
possible,
that.
Yeah. But that's not brain damage sports necessarily.
No, that's the thing. That's true. That is true.
That's where I railed into boxing because
you narrowed it down.
That's my guy.
Nice job. So he is a boxer, and he was a great boxer, world-class guy.
Okay.
Phenomenal until lots of things started to take him down, as we'll get into, including his own brain and his own decisions. And just, when your brain turns to pudding, your decision-making gets worse, and you'll see what he does anyway, besides that, to influence and enhance his bad decision-making. He was born way back on August 2nd, 1951. He's from Puerto Rico.
Great.
Esteban de Jesus. I know you thought he was Norwegian, but he's a Puerto Rican man. Born and raised in the town of Carolina, I'm sure. Carolina in Puerto Rico. It's it's a northeastern Puerto Rico, right northern shore of the island of Puerto Rico. Apparently, back then, this place is a very, very violent.
Oh, I'm sure.
Tough place.
I don't think of Puerto Rico as anything less than.
No, and there's some beautiful parts of Puerto Rico.
There is.
There's some nice beaches and all that sort of thing.
You got to fight through guerrillas
but
to get there.
But it's known as it's a very violent. I mean, sure, Christ, we were talking last week in the Jake the Snake Roberts episode. The Bruiser Brody, the wrestler, got stabbed in the shower in the locker room there, inside the business.
By a guy that everybody knew who did it, and they didn't do shit.
It was his boss at the time. That's who stabbed him, and nothing happened. So that's
how scary that place is.
It's a wild place, and especially if you're born in 1951, if you grew up in the 60s there, it was probably pretty open.
A little less
Wild West,
a little more lawless.
A little more lawless, yeah. So this is a very violent area, lots of crime. There's some organized crime, there's gang violence, there's all sorts of stuff going on there. Also, this is where Roberto Clemente is from.
Is that right?
This is Roberto Clemente's hometown as well. So this town put out two world-class, top-notch athletes. That's one thing, which is amazing. Yeah, Roberto Clemente, one of the best baseball players of all time. He was great. Did you say pitcher? He was not a pitcher. I'm not going to let you get
I said that on purpose.
Yeah, he's not a pitcher. It's like, no. You're going to get
just to see if you would catch
You're going to get us tweets.
One of the best pictures ever.
One of the best pictures ever. This is great. It's phenomenal. His curveball is the best in the business. I'm telling you right now. He'd come in with his long, flowing blonde locks and on that mound and just blow people away with that fastball.
That fucking music at the end of the game. When
you know it, man.
He's a fucking great closer. Unbelievable. Nasty slider.
Nasty slider. So we know as Esteban growing up, not a lot is known about his young life. Number one, it's another country in the 50s and early 60s. So the only real way to know about it would be as if he wanted to talk about it, and he doesn't want to talk about it ever. He's a He's a very private guy,
and that's some painful ass memories.
And
I
that's
imagine.
the other thing. And he's just an excessively private person, also. Yeah. So, like a story like this is really, really hard to do, and you really had to pick it up from multiple different things. He never wrote an autobiography. He didn't sit down every 5 minutes with somebody and do a big expose piece and try to get in the good graces over and over. Sure. He just didn't do that. He was just private, and he didn't speak English really that well, so he wasn't much into giving like American language newspaper articles. I mean, he spoke English, but not terrifically.
Broken.
Yeah, and if I was in another country or if I was talking to another country's press, I would feel uncomfortable. Even if I spoke that language. No, even if I spoke that language, I would feel like I don't know the nuances of the language to be in a conversation that's being taped and broadcast to people.
Still own the shit out of it.
The Yankees had Hideki Matsui, their old right fielder there for a long time. He spoke English, but never did interviews because he said he just wasn't confident enough to speak conversational English. He could speak like, "Where's the train?" and whatever, shit like that. But, if someone asked him, "Hey, in the third inning there when there was a hit and run on I think you might lose him after the,
you hit it's the nuances of the English language that are terrifying for them. Yeah,
I don't blame them.
It's the most complicated language in the world.
Oh yeah,
English, just because so much slang,
slang and words that mean different things in
words
different
that
contexts,
mean fucking nothing,
and words that mean nothing, and words that we have 14 different words for this and that, and this it's so much slang,
it's
like
bananas.
you said. Yeah,
and then you got to learn to swear on top of that.
Yeah,
fuck this language.
My God! Somebody sidebar real quick. Somebody, I believe in Sweden, a Swedish person sent us an email saying that their boyfriend or somebody something like that was learning English from us.
Oh, don't do that.
And I was like, why are they doing that?
At all.
They're going to be telling everyone in Sweden to eat dicks. They're going to be walking around Sweden, eat dicks. Hey, fuck you. Go fuck you, sir. May fuck off. Like, no, don't learn from us. What are you doing?
The Jimmies tell me this is how English is said.
It's like the Eddie Murphy Raw joke. People going, but fuck you, Eddie. I know you. You're the fuck you man, right? Yeah.
Fuck
you,
stuff.
Eddie. Yeah. Like, that's going to be us. We don't need Swedish people running up to us. Eat dicks.
You are the Jimmies. Eat dicks.
You sir, may fuck off. On the street. Jesus fucking Christ. I swear to God.
That's awesome.
That is creepy as shit. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. So anyway, as a teenager, he's running around in Puerto Rico. Esteban is. He visits the home and training facility of a guy named Gregorio Benitez Sr. Okay, obviously a senior. Bad news right away. Yeah. This is in the St. Juster, Houston, I guess, with the silent J, I would imagine, down there. Region of Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I'm not going to pronounce anything right. Papa Benitez, they know him as, which creeps me out right away.
Well, he sounds like a gangster. He sounds very mafioso.
He's not a gangster at all.
He's
a boxing
Gregorio?
trainer. No, he works as an automobile body shop as a painter and is trying to train his 4 sons to box.
That's called a front, sir.
No, he works there. He doesn't own it.
I'm sure he does.
He paints cars.
Okay, really?
He's an automobile. He's a body shop painter. Okay. He's just a painter. He doesn't own the shop.
I don't believe any of
this. He's not a businessman.
Okay.
He's not anything.
I'm terrified of him.
Well, if he was, this is how you know that he's just a painter, because he forces his 4 sons to fucking box against their will.
Oh, shit.
And we'll talk about what he does. Trust me, if this guy was a gangster, he'd be the shittiest gangster ever if he's making his sons do this shit.
Joe Jackson?
This is like Joe Jackson, or many stories. Again, fucking wrestling last week, because I did research on that. We talked about the Von Erichs. Fritz Von Erich, the father of the Von Erichs, his dad used to take him down to town and have him fight people for money.
Holy
My kid
shit.
can kick your ass for $1 type of thing. Like, what the fuck? So that's what the type of thing it is. Like, this is old-timey. My kid will beat you up for money. Like illegal child street fights. This is like Tim Montgomery with his races.
This is bananas.
Illegal street races.
Yeah.
So Papa Benitez, which creeps me out because it reminds me of Stranger Things.
Okay.
So anybody named Papa is no good here. They call him Goyo for whatever.
I think that's Papa. I think that's Dad. Is that Dad in Spanish?
I don't fucking know. So he's
it's
a painter.
It's some family thing in Spanish, I'm sure.
Now, Esteban's not a big guy either. Full grown, he's 5'5", $130.
My man.
That's his like his fighting weight. Yeah. Now, in 1963, back to the Benitez's a little bit here.
Yeah. He will bruise the shit out of your knees, though, James. I'm telling you.
Oh, he will fuck. Yeah, I'm worried.
He will fuck your
Charlie
thighs
Horse
up.
is like crazy. Charlie Horse is like crazy. He was a badass to Jesus. I would want to fight 130 pounds or not. I'm not fighting this guy.
1-2 jump to the chin.
Well, I'd fight him now, but I wouldn't fight him then.
Yeah.
So we'll find out why I'll fight him now. He's no match for me, trust me. So 1963, Gregorio Jr., who was 9 years old and who was deemed to be kind of the he's the best of the kids, I guess. He's the oldest is all it is, and he can hold the gloves up.
Sure.
He's 9. There's a 4-year-old. They're like, I don't think his skills are too good.
I don't think he has it.
Every fight, he's
not in him.
He's dropping the left every time. You're going to get that kid.
He's tired. That's all.
He's dropping the left hand. It's heavy. The glove, I can't. No, son, he's just weak. It's just weak. He's never going to amount to anything.
Right.
Never mind. So he would have his. This is in New York City, by the way. The Benitez's are. Esteban runs into him later when they move down to Puerto Rico. But I got to give you a background on him. This is before Esteban meets him. Yeah. This is what Esteban walks into. Okay, when he gets down there. This is in New York City. He would. His son was 9, but he had a lot of experience in backyard boxing.
Okay,
where neighbors would pay 25 cents to watch kid fights.
Really?
They'd pay he would have essentially.
I think that's child abuse.
Child cockfights. Yeah. No, he would have
child abuse.
Oh, no, that's not legal.
No.
It's not legal to put 2 9-year-olds in a backyard
and gamble on who
charge
gets
people to fucking see it, and then they're gambling on it.
That's amazing.
That is not legal, and that's not good parenting. That is not crime and sports approved parenting right there. That causes bad shit later on. So also his youngest son, Wilfred, who we'll talk about later, who's a badass, was 5, sometimes would box up to 2, would sometimes box 2 matches a day.
Wow.
At 5. So
holy
5
shit.
years old. His dad gave him $2.
What? $2?
$2.
You earn $1 a match?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Jesus.
His dad would they were boxing whether they wanted to or not. I mean,
that was their game.
We don't know whether they wanted to or not, but if they didn't want to, they were doing it. He would verbally abuse them. He'd punch them. He'd fucking, don't be I mean, people do that anyway with their kids, especially in the 60s. To mow the lawn, they would do that to their kids.
Oh, shit, yeah.
They're going out there, go out and fight that other kid.
It's 2018. I consider it.
Yeah.
I consider the shit out of it all the time.
The Gregorio Jr. here, he's 11 years old, and he's doing road work at 4 a.m. Like, they're waking him up before to drink raw eggs and go out like Rocky and shit. It's insanity, man. So anyway, they move in 1966 back down to Puerto Rico, down to now this is how shitty New York was getting in the 60s. They moved to Puerto Rico to, quote, avoid crime. That's how bad it was. We're going to Puerto Rico because it's so bad here.
Best city in the world.
Yeah,
to go to Puerto Rico.
Shit was bad in certain neighborhoods there. But still, he would still do the illegal boxing with his sons and all that sort of thing. His son Gregorio became a professional boxer at 15 in 1967, but he'd been fighting for years. Didn't matter for him. So anyway, De Jesus sees, hey, maybe I could be a boxer. I mean, there's not much going on around there otherwise, and I think he's a small guy too, so you're not going to be a whatever. Even you're not going to be Roberto Clemente. Right. You're a tinier guy. Right. You're either going to be a second baseman who hits 1 home run every 4 years, but has a great glove, or you're going to learn to throw hands. So he decides to learn to throw hands, and he wants to make something of himself. So he goes to Papa Benitez here, and for Papa Benitez, it's a good thing because here's somebody who's volunteering to do this. Yeah. He doesn't have to force them.
This time he's not breaking a leg for him to do it.
He doesn't have to force them since birth. You know what I mean? So, that sort of thing here. Now, De Jesus, too, what we do know about him is that he has a lot of brothers and sisters. We don't know exactly how many, but there's a shitload of people in the family, and none of them became anything great. So he is also thinking about, hey, I need to, like, buy food for my family and shit like that. I need to provide for my family. So that's the other thing here. His father is a carpenter. His father's a very hard worker. He works long hours. He's a carpenter, and Esteban would help him out. He would assist him on carpenter jobs, that sort of thing. So they were trying to raise the kids right. They're trying to raise Esteban to be responsible, to be a good adult, to be have work ethic.
Sure.
Okay. So when his parents meet Benitez, they think this is good for him.
Yeah.
It's discipline.
Yeah.
It's he's not going to fuck around.
Right.
And the Benitez would tell them, whether it's your son or anybody else, they're going to be too tired to get into trouble when I'm done with them. They're just going to spar and they're going to do that. And they're going to be way too tired. They're not going to run around the streets. None of my kids are criminals. Right. Blah blah blah. So they were like, great, let's do that here. And they would see Esteban would come home exhausted, go right to sleep. They're like, oh, this is great for him. He's not running around. He hasn't been arrested. This is phenomenal here. And Benitez would preach against crime and against drugs and against the whole deal, and trying to get them to be fucking
live the right path.
To live the right path. They were also really into their church and all that shit. The Benitezes. They were they're forcing their kids to fight for money in the streets, but as they're doing it, they're learning Psalms and that sort of thing.
That's
so
sweet.
Excellent here. Yeah, they would. They would all. That was like, it was almost like a mission. Like, you'd box and they'd also preach biblical shit at you at the same time here. So that's interesting here. And the parents would. Esteban's parents encouraged him to listen. They said, listen to that guy. Yeah. Listen to him. It doesn't matter. I don't care what he says if you don't like it. Listen to him. He knows what he's doing, and, we don't want you to be a jerk-off, basically. This Benitez also would do another crazy thing that we've seen other crazy trainers do.
Sure.
Would just pair people up regardless of size for sparring. So they'd have
no weight class.
No weight classes. You're going to spar him. The 14-year-old's going to spar the 9-year-old, and we'll see what happens, which is fucking nuts here.
That's dangerous.
And same thing, he thought it toughened them.
Yeah.
What's going to toughen them mentally? If you're 9 and you have to fight someone twice your size, it'll make you much tougher. Yes, it will. It'll also give you brain damage, as we'll find out from his kids, who pretty much all have fucking horrible brain damage. Gee, I wonder why. So that was it. Esteban, he just went along with the whole program. Esteban's a quiet guy. He's not a flashy guy. He's not a guy that goes out and talks a lot of shit, doesn't say anything. He's quiet. He's shy. He seems like the perfect type of guy that would be good for this. You know what I mean? He's getting up at 4:00 in the morning, and he's doing all that kind of thing. They're having him he's constantly learning different moves and different techniques and different punches and this punch like this guy, learn this guy's kind of jab, and learn an overhand right like this, and that sort of thing here. They kept telling him everything's set up by the jab over and over again, and that's kind of been DeJesus's thing later on. Benitez forbade dating girls or having girlfriends of any kind. You will not date.
Oh, boy.
Nothing, including his sons. No one's allowed to have girls. It's like some kind of Muslim compound now. No
That's
women.
Not good.
So Esteban wanted girls, but he couldn't have girls until
he's not allowed
later. That was until you're done with this. You are not allowed to have girls. And the way he learned too, Esteban and all these guys, is this was kind of a traditional household, and it's the 50s in Puerto Rico. I mean, it's 60s in Puerto Rico. Right. The wife cooked and cleaned and shut the fuck up, and he yelled at her all the time, and they all cowered from him and all that kind of shit. So it was kind of a weird old school thing here. So much so that every once in a while the police would have to come over and sort some shit out. Mainly, though, they would sort shit out because they were investigating the way he was training boys and his son, and whether they were having illegal street fights for money and things like that. Benitez basically said, nobody's business but mine. They're my kids.
Of course.
If I want to have them bash their heads in.
That's the way psychos say things.
Yeah,
they're
my kids.
It's my business.
It's my business. Everybody mind your own business. So, yeah.
Your business or not, it's still illegal, sir.
Yeah, and he said no one's trapped here.
Yeah.
My sons are. They're not allowed to leave. But he said anybody else, he said, quote, enjoy poverty, there's the goddamn door. That's literally what he said to the police. That was his quote. I tell everyone, you don't want to be here? Enjoy poverty. And there's the goddamn door. And a lot of times, that's what it was.
Yeah.
You don't want to be here? Go out there and do nothing then.
Basically what every parent says whenever they're like, I'm going to run away. Well, enjoy not eating.
But here it's like here they might have opportunities. And in Puerto Rico in the 60s, I think it was
he's
enjoy.
Serious.
Yeah, that's literally
dead serious.
It's this or poverty or both. Really, that's possible too. But
poverty's a joke here. Like the word poverty, you don't even take that seriously.
Yeah,
there
totally.
it's like enjoy poverty, and you're like, yeah, you got a point.
You got a good point. Never mind. I'll go hit the speed bag again. Never mind. It's okay. So. His sons too. They would get smacked around a lot. Yeah. That's how he talked to them. You're dropping your hand, smack like.
Unbelievable.
So that's how he treated. He didn't treat Esteban like that.
No,
which you really can't treat people who aren't your kids like that. They might leave.
Yeah, good point.
At that point,
they might leave because they have somewhere else to go.
And his parents were pretty nice to him too. So he's like, well, I'm not going to take it shit from this guy. Right. But as far as the boxing stuff. If his parents told him, hey, if he tells you to go hit the bag for an hour, you go hit the bag for an hour.
Bag.
Yeah, we don't want you to be a bum. Wilfred Benitez he was the really good one of the family. He's kind of later on he becomes the prize of the family here. He's the youngest world champion in the history of boxing.
Right now?
No. At the time. No, at the time.
Right.
He had his first of 3 career world titles in separate weight divisions. First of all, which is also not done often.
3 different weight divisions.
3 different weight division titles, which isn't done very often. Also, and he won his first title at 17.
My Christ!
So I mean, everybody thinks Mike Tyson was young.
Yeah.
7 fucking teen.
Mike Tyson was 19, right?
Yeah, 17 though is
Jesus.
As
a
here.
world title at 17?
Yeah, world title at 17.
Holy
he was really
shit.
good. 53-8-1.
What'd you do at 17, James?
Not
you
that
unimpressive fuck.
I had nothing going for me at 17 whatsoever.
17 years old. He's the strongest. He's the best fighter in his weight class at 17 the world.
I had a car that was worth $150 and I delivered pizza
from that
when
car.
I was 17 from that car, and I thought it was great. If it started, I thought it was fantastic because I was like, I have a job where I can deliver pizza and smoke some weed and go back to work. Who else can do that?
I was
top of the world, man.
We worked in pizza places when we were both 17. That's so weird.
Of course, yeah.
I was on the floor of a pizza joint with a gun against my head,
you did that.
proving that I was not the best at anything in the world in my weight class.
I was just driving around. I had no weight class. I had the Oldsmobile weight class.
I was the best at being robbed at gunpoint in my weight class at 17.
That's pretty impressive. That's good for you. I know the heavyweights. It's apples and oranges.
You couldn't have cracked
that territory. You couldn't have cracked that territory. Very difficult.
I did nothing, is what I'm saying, at 17. Also, somebody actually, speaking of boxing and Mike Tyson, somebody tweeted at us.
That was the silliest shit ever.
The dumbest question ever.
They weren't dumb.
Her husband is an idiot.
Yeah, sorry, you're an idiot.
You married a dummy.
The question was if it doesn't
in their prime. It's a ridiculous.
At any
proposal.
point in time, if Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather stepped into a ring, who would win? And it's
Mike Tyson would kill him today.
At their closest weights, Mike Tyson had at least 60 pounds on him. Number one. So any 2 professional fighters, if one has 60 pounds on the other one's going to die.
It's
number one.
Over.
And if the one who has 60 pounds on the smaller one is also one of the best fighters in the history of the world and super aggressive and the hardest puncher ever.
The hardest left hook ever.
Right hand, uppercut, overhand, you name the punch.
The left hook is destructive, though. It will destroy him.
I've seen him knock guys off balance, heavyweights, 225 pounds, with a punch to their arm.
Right.
Knocked with the force of it, knocked their whole 225 pounds off balance.
Right.
If he hit a guy who's 135 pounds with that, he would knock him out of the ring.
Right.
If he hit him in the head,
it would explode his head.
They would need to put him back together again. He would be like Humpty Dumpty. They would medical personnel would have to put him back together.
Humpty Dumpty Floyd Mayweather.
So that's a silly question.
There's
I don't
your
care.
answer.
Mayweather in his prime and Mike Tyson. If you roused him at 3 a.m. tonight, that would be still. He would kill him.
Matter.
If Floyd Mayweather woke Mike Tyson up with punches to the face today, Mike Tyson would murder him in his bedroom.
And then go eat his children.
Exactly.
That's what would happen.
In his bedroom. Right there. So we'll get that out of the way here. So
he would dine on his family.
Absolutely. So out of everybody Benitez had, so stupid question. Your husband's a dummy, but you're very nice.
Great question.
Great question.
That you answered correctly.
You had the right answer.
Your husband's an idiot.
Silly. There's an old saying. This is true. This is actually not a joke. But if you're ever wondering who would win in a fight, they always say, if 2 fighters are evenly matched, always take the bigger one, period.
That's
so
it.
Even if they were evenly matched, which they're not, because Tyson was way
better.
And even Floyd with his hands and all that, he could dance around. Well, he wouldn't matter.
It doesn't
just
matter
hit him
at
in
all.
the arms. He would just murder him. Done. Anyway, so out of
hit
everyone,
him in the top of the head.
He hit him anywhere he wants.
Break his spine.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why everybody with the MMA argument. Yeah. Well, with an MMA fight, if he hooked him, it doesn't matter. If you hook him, you have to be near him, which is in range of his fists, which means he's going to kill you.
It's over.
Yes. If he has access to your ribs or your head, he will break them, and then you have to let him go. So it doesn't matter how much you have him hooked,
because you have to tend to your
You're dealing
wound.
with superhuman punching power. It's not the same. It's just not. With an average person, yes, you can hook them.
Right.
With a man who could kill you with a fist, he broke Galata's neck with a punch. That's a 250-pound, thick, professional Polish fighter.
Broke a neck.
Broke his neck with a punch. Do you understand what we're dealing with here? It's not normal. Okay, that's enough Tyson. So it's appropriate today. It's a boxing episode.
He's an amazing fighter.
He's given plenty of brain damage. There's brain damage in the episode. So out of everyone that Benitez had in his little roster, his sons, everybody, Esteban was the one who was emerging as the guy to fuck with, basically. He was the tough one. He said that Papa there even referred to him as a good kid, a strong kid, a tough kid. Yeah. He said his work ethic was amazing. He was the best. He would train harder than anyone around him. He didn't care. All he did that was bad, Jesus, or Esteban at this point, was he liked to smoke a little weed.
Yeah.
But he's on the island. He's hanging out. He's a kid. It's the 60s.
It's Puerto Rico.
It's the 60s in Puerto Rico. He's smoking a little weed on the beach. Who cares? But he's not rebellious otherwise. He's not a kid that goes out. He doesn't go out and drink and stay out for days at a time and get arrested and act like an asshole here. But they did encourage him to fight, way early and young and professionally.
And bigger people.
He didn't believe in this amateur bullshit. Amateurs out in the backyard in the alley. That's amateur.
I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, amateur. Yeah, that's why I'm not paying you much, because you're an amateur. Don't worry about it, kid. But he finally comes and fights his first professional fight in February 2nd, 1969. So 17 years old when he starts fighting.
Wow.
Right off the bat, young. So young, 17. Esteban's got his first fight. It's in San Juan, and it's against a guy named El Torita. And there's no real name known for this guy.
It's just a nickname.
El Torita, and it doesn't matter because this is his only fight.
That's the name of a taco shop.
Yes, El Torita's. That's what he did. He stopped boxing after this. After Esteban knocked him out in the second round, he said, I am going to take this fantastic nickname I have and open up a wonderful taco stand on the beach.
Everywhere.
And never mind this. And it's going to be a chain.
It's in
We're going to
every
have them all
city.
over.
Right.
Let's do it. So El Torita's, get your tacos today. El Torita's, the best tacos in all of Puerto Rico. So
they're all retarded.
They're all retarded. So this guy gets knocked out. Esteban's 1-0. July 21st, 1969. So, and we're going to do this first year when
that guy only had one fight.
That was it. He fought two career rounds, or a round and a half. Got knocked out. And
you
quit.
Didn't even
he already
earn
had a nickname.
Yeah. What the fuck are you
He came
doing?
out. I got a fucking nickname. Never mind. That's don't tell anyone my real name. I just go under. That's why he had a nickname.
Yeah.
He knew he was going to lose in an embarrassing fashion. He didn't want to disgrace his family. His father told him, "You can box, but do not use my name.
Never use my name.
You are El Torita. Get it
forever."
Okay. And he goes out there. July 21st, 1969. So he waits a few months, actually, which is weird for the opening of a career. He won't do that much, though.
No?
They'll come. He's got to stack that brain damage quickly, Jimmy. These guys, it's like you can't let your brain get used to this.
Right.
You got to get in there and mush it up good. Really get it some pudding.
Get puree on that
so
blender.
we can have fun later on. You know what I mean? So July 21st, 69, in San Juan, he fights Braulio Rodriguez, who's a 6-10 career Dominican fighter. He comes into the fight 1-0, though.
Wow.
He comes in promising. It's 1-0 versus 1-0. Esteban
leaving with a loss.
Someone's leaving without a perfect record here. Esteban wins by knockout in round 4.
Wow.
So he's 2-0. And some of these fights, too, I mean, we're talking guys that are 130 pounds.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see the type of knockouts that we talk about with heavyweights where it's like, oh, he went the distance.
Right.
Like, that's good to go the distance with somebody. You have to be a real puncher to knock people out at 130 pounds.
It's really hard to do.
It is.
When you're small and don't have much power behind it, you're not gonna do it.
And 130 is kind of the cutoff to where guys start knocking each other out. Like below that, they're just
it's a pillow fight,
full fucking blast, wailing on each other, and nothing happens. No, they don't even have black eyes.
No.
They're not even swollen.
No, they're barely sweating.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, Esteban's 2-0, August 2nd, 69. So now they're coming. This is less than 2 weeks later. Esteban in San Juan again. He fights Francisco Maldonado Maldonado, who sounds like a relief pitcher to me, or a guy who makes a tomato sauce.
Yeah.
Try Francisco Maldonado's classic 4-cheese. Doesn't sound like
classic 4-cheese?
It's an Alfredo, and a classic 4-cheese Alfredo jar. And then
Francisco Maldonado sounds like a candy maker.
Yes, well, there's Francisco Rinaldi. I think that's where I'm getting
is that it? All right,
I think that's where I'm going. Well, you're saying candy because Candy Maldonado is a baseball player. Jesus Christ, Jimmy.
Is that what just happened?
Yes, that's what just happened. Candy Maldonado.
It sounded delicious.
Was a player for the Giants and many other teams for years. He was an outfielder.
I know who he is.
You just heard the word Maldonado.
And I was like, candy maker.
And
that
said,
sounds
I'd
delicious.
like him to make me candy. And Flipper is not a dolphin. Flipper Anderson is not on the Dolphins.
He sounds like he makes confectionery treats.
He kind of does. And Alfredo sauce in a jar. So Francisco Maldonado's fine Alfredo.
You see him rugged as fuck.
You do.
And I see him so nice.
No, I just see him as a chef.
Yeah.
He's a chef.
Just a rugged-ass chef.
Yeah, maybe. More of like a European chef.
Like a 5 o'clock shadow. No. I see him so clean-shaven.
See, I picture him perfectly clean with like the tie, the chef, right. Like the whole little ascot and everything, very clean, presenting
the ascot.
Francisco Maldonado's. He started with the 4-cheese, and then he got into tomato, but he started with the 4-cheese. Francisco leaves the candy factory, and he is 0-1 coming into this fight, and it doesn't get much better from here as he ends up 0-4 for his career, losing in round 3 of 6 here, getting knocked out, bringing Esteban to 3-0.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
And now back to the show.
August 23rd, 69. That's another couple weeks.
Yeah.
So this is
right now.
This is 3 fights in 30 days, basically.
Fuck.
3 fights in 32 days.
For real ones.
For fights.
Yeah.
And they go, one goes 4 rounds, that goes 3 rounds. And then this fight, August 23rd, versus Johnny Sandoval, another Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
He's a 3-6-1 career fighter. This is a unanimous decision in 6 rounds.
Goes the fucking distance.
So that's a lot of rounds. That's 6 and 4. That's 13 rounds, but of 3 different fights. So your brain gets all beat up, calms down, gets beat up again, calms down. That's not good for you.
No.
And he's taking blows. These aren't first round fights like when we covered Valero.
Right.
And he literally had 20 fights that were in the first round. So it's like he could fight twice a month because he's never getting hit.
But the opportunity for it to go the distance is there.
It's
still.
always
it's
there.
Still set up for that many rounds.
It really is. So he's 4-0 here after the unanimous decision. By the way, at this point, right in the beginning of his career, he starts. He moves from cocaine. He moves from weed to cocaine.
Okay.
And he'll move further in that. Right now, he's just going to be snorting cocaine, though. But stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Because it gets worse.
It gets way worse than that. So right now, he's smoking a little weed. He's snorting a little coke.
Yeah.
He's boxing. Mainly does drugs. I mean, he has a bunch of friends and hangers-on now. Yeah. As he starts to get famous, he'll get more hangers-on.
Sure.
And that sort of thing. But his older brother, Enrique, and him are drug partners.
Really?
They are drug buddies. They start smoking weed together. They move to coke together.
Yeah.
They go through all the phases together.
Great.
Family. It's important.
Yeah.
So September 27th, 1969 in San Juan, he fights Ramon Montez of Puerto Rico. He's 2-0 coming in.
Wow.
So looking good for Montez. He ends up 4-10 in his career, though.
Okay.
Starting
that's
with,
not good.
No, that's worse.
He started out 2-0 and then goes 2-10.
And then goes 2-10 after that. Starting with this debacle, losing by knockout at round 3 of 6. Bringing Esteban to 5-0.
Wow! So he from 2-1, then he goes 1-10.
Then he goes
1-9.
2-9. No, he goes 2-2. Well, after this fight, he'll go 2-9. 2-9.
2-9.
2-9.
My
So he has
math is
4
bad.
wins.
You're right. God damn it!
Not even close, Jimmy.
Oh boy!
And Flipper's still not a Dolphin. Okay, and Candy Maldonado doesn't make candy.
I'm just trying to picture this guy losing.
Yeah.
And the mental spiral after this, starting at 2-0.
Oh, he ruined him. Jesus ruined him.
Yeah.
And that's what happens a lot of times. We see with these guys.
Yeah.
They come in, they get ruined. You have this. They're just ruined. They have this confidence. They come in, hey, I'm doing fine, and then a guy completely outclasses them, beats their ass, and then they're gun shy from there.
And then they're just like, now what do I do?
People, once they get beat up, they either go, well, that's as bad as that can be. Fucking, I'm not afraid of that. Or now they're gun shy to get beat up.
And
it
that's
depends
their
on the type
game
of person.
plan. They know
it's
how
fight
to
or flight.
Right.
You know?
They know how to fight one way, and they're fighting that way, and they're winning.
Yeah.
And then they lose, and they're like, well, that fucking style sure as shit didn't work.
That's the other thing too. One more Tyson thing. Some guy tweeted on Tyson. Yeah, but after the third round, second, third round, he wasn't the same fighter. He turned into a normal fighter, and blah blah blah. Actually, that was his strategy to come out and try to knock you out immediately.
Right now,
because why not knock you out in the first round? And if you're a skilled enough fighter to withstand that barrage,
then I need now strategy.
Then the whole then they have a totally different strategy that they have ready to put into play to sucker you into dropping your hand for a half a split second so he can hit you once and knock you in the next week. That's the strategy then. Then it's just wait for you to fuck up. Yeah, and he knocked plenty of guys out late and asked broken-jawed Donovan Razor Ruddock about fighting Tyson past the second round. Ask guys like that who got knocked the fuck out later on in the fight. It happens. You should have seen Larry Holmes after 12. I don't think that was just from one round. He beat Larry Holmes' ass for 12 of them.
I don't think he wanted to go again.
So, October 19th, 69. So these are 3 weeks later. This is in San Juan. He fights Kid Matt Sheffield, who's from Miami. As you can tell, he got a stupid nickname.
Right.
He's 8-12-1 career. This is a TKO in round 2. So 6-0 for Esteban, November 22nd.
The Kid is such a lazy nickname.
Kid. Ugh. Yeah. It's Kid or Sugar in boxing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, get it together. There's already a few of those.
There's so many sugars. Stop it.
Enough kids and enough sugars. November 22nd, 69, like a month later in San Juan, he fights Eva Law Eastman, who's from Guyana. Good thing he got out and missed the whole Jim Jones debacle. Good for you, guy. He is an 18-47-3 career fighter.
Jesus.
That is, wow. You must really want out of Guyana because they're like, I'll go just lose a lot.
I'll lose almost every time. I don't care.
50 times he didn't win. Literally 47 wins
and 3 draws.
47 losses, 3 draws. 50 times he was like, well, that didn't fucking work. 50 times.
He fought 50 times losing or not winning.
That's terrible.
For 18 victories.
18 wins.
For those 18 days of glory.
No, that's it, man. This is knockout in round 5 of 8. He's up to 7-0. Esteban still hasn't fought a linker, by the way. Okay. And that is, for people who don't know, that is boxers who have actually a link on their Wikipedia, because every boxer has a full list of who they fought.
Yeah.
And some of them you can click on and some of them you can't. And these are non-linkers that I have to then go do much more research on and find them in other places, and I do. So January 24th, 1970, keeps it moving. In San Juan, Martin Cuello from Venezuela. He's an 0-2 career fighter, and this is his second fight.
Yeah.
So that tells you right there. He ends his career, Esteban does, with a knockout in round 2.
Yeah.
He's 8-0 now. February 14th, 3 weeks later on Valentine's Day, very romantic. he fights a Dominican guy named Chino Guerrero. So that's romance right there. He's a 1-2 career fighter, but he comes in 1-0.
Oh.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
And then he gets TKO'd in the third round of this fight. Doesn't feel so good anymore. Loses one more and says, I am going to go open a taco stand with El Torito.
For sure.
Fuck this. This is wrong.
I make an amazing salsa.
Yes, and
I'm
we
leaving.
get that tacos aren't a Puerto Rican thing. We understand that.
But El Torito sure the fuck is.
That sounds like
sure the fuck is.
That sounds like a taco stand in Phoenix that's open 24 hours a day.
I'll tell you what. While you're talking, I will Google El Torito taco stand. I guarantee there is one.
There probably is one, unless it means the death stomach or something.
Right. Unless it means explosive diarrhea in Spanish.
Intestinal parasite in Spanish. I don't think then maybe it wouldn't be.
El Torito Grill
there you go.
Before I even type taco stand.
Perfect. And they make like a Spanish grill. It's
You're goddamn right. It's Tex-Mex.
Of course they do. It's,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, everything on a tortilla.
We win.
Thank you. Exactly. We knew. Don't tell. But Candy Maldonado still has not been making any confession. So
I'm going to send him all the Willy Wonka recipes.
You should.
He's going to get into it.
He's going to be like, what the fuck, man? So I don't know if he's on Twitter. We can check and see if Candy Maldonado. Someone tag Candy Maldonado in something. No one's spoken to him in years, I'm sure. He's very lonely.
He's going to be thrilled to know that I thought somebody else.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gotten that before.
His last name made me think of him. That's all it is.
Perfect. Yeah, that's all it took. So he's 9-0.
And I didn't even know I was thinking of him.
No. February 28th, 1970. 2 weeks later to the day, he fights in San Juan, fights Braulio Rodriguez again. Braulio has won 4 straight fights since the last fight.
Okay.
He's 5-1 coming in.
Is Braulio his real name?
It's Braulio.
Yeah, I imagine.
Braulio or Braulio. It's not
still
like
fucking perfect.
It's not Brawl.
It's still perfect.
Yeah, it's fucking Braulio. Right. That's a cool name.
That's awesome.
That's like a Mario villain in Super Mario. It's a Braulio. Hey, we get him now. And you have to jump on his head 3 times before he shoots Koopa Troopers at you.
But he's a fighter.
He's a fighter.
He wears boxing gloves in that game.
Yeah, he does, absolutely. And shoots Koopa Troopers at you. So he's 5-1 coming in. He's want to avenge his loss, his only loss here. But he gets TKO'd in round 8 of 10.
Of course he does.
But that's a long fight here. And he just fought 2 weeks ago for Esteban. So Esteban's 10-0, which is terrific. But he's stacking these fights. March 28th, 70. A month later, in San Juan, he fights Bobby Parnell, who's from Akron, Ohio, and a 7-26-1 fighter.
Of course he is.
Yikes!
He's from Akron. Now, has anything positive ever come out of Akron?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
LeBron James, isn't he from Akron?
Was he from Akron?
I think he's from Akron.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Have you seen his hairline? That's not positive.
That's not positive. But
he's a great comedic actor too.
He's pretty fucking funny.
He's so funny.
So he fights.
He's the best part of Trainwreck.
That's
by far.
No comment. So no comment on Trainwreck. So he's from Akron. He's a 7-26-1 fighter and gets knocked out in the first round here.
Really?
You're a 130-pounder getting knocked out in the first round.
Yeesh.
That is not great for your prospects.
Or ego.
No. April 6th, 1970. That is 8 days later.
Holy shit.
He fights again, Esteban does. He fights Ike Estrada. He's a Puerto Rican guy. This is his boxing debut.
Wow.
So going to go really well. He is knocked out in the 5th round, Ike is, and he never fights again.
That's it.
So, Esteban has beat the will to fight out of several people now. The will to continue.
Yeah.
He's 12-0 in his mission here. April 30th, 1970, in Ponce or whatever, Puerto Rico, he fights Jose Jimenez. Oh, there's been 8 relief pitchers named Jose Jimenez so far.
Yeah.
He's a 5-8-3 career fighter, and he loses his last 7 fights.
Wow.
So he was 5-1-3, and then lost 7 fights out, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Unanimous decision in 10 rounds, though.
Okay.
This goes 10 on April 30th, 1970. Esteban wins. May 12th.
I wish you would have found the 7th fight to know how long it went.
Oh, yeah,
to see what talked him out of boxing. You know what I mean?
No, I actually looked at that.
That 7th loss.
I couldn't find... You couldn't find his individual fight rounds. It was difficult. It's 1970, a guy who barely fought.
Non-linker?
Total non-linker, absolutely.
You're not going to find that fight.
But
I'd like to find him and have him tell me the story.
Yeah, I want to know from you.
What was that moment when you were like, fuck it?
Fuck it, I quit.
Tell me the fuck it moment.
So this is a unanimous decision, 10 rounds. It's a 10-round fight.
Yeah.
That's a lot of punching 130-pound guys. A lot of blows to the head. That's April 30th. May 12th, he fights again after fighting a fucking 10-round fight, which is batshit.
Wow.
He fights in San Juan against He fights versus Coverly Kid Daniels, who is from St. Kitts.
Yeah.
This guy won his first fight, and then his finished career record is 1-6-1.
Wow.
So won the first fight, feeling
Never
good,
won again.
lost 6 in a row and drew 1. This is one of his losses. He gets knocked out in the 6th round. This is 14-0. For Esteban.
Yeah.
July 9th, 1970 in San Juan, he fights Tommy Schaefer, a 17-30-5 boxer.
Yeah.
And this guy sounds like he lives in a van, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He sounds like he lives in a van, and he's like, nah, I just buy a lot of cans of tuna fish, and you can just open them, and I just eat them right out of the can,
It's straight protein.
It's good for protein.
Right.
It helps me work out, and if I go for a swim down at the river, and that's fine. I go in the creek. You swim back and forth. I think I'm pretty clean.
Sometimes I catch a tuna. You never know.
Sometimes you catch a fish. Well, I'm swimming around. It's not too bad. I shake the barnacles and the seaweed off of me, and I get right back in the ring.
You never know at the same time.
You never know. What are you going to do? Spend too much time together doing this. That's why. Jesus Christ. This is
that's an actual diet for people that work out and for fighters and stuff. The tuna diet.
Absolutely.
It's a bananas diet.
Yeah, it's just not straight mercury.
It's awful.
It's terrible for you. Straight mercury. Guys back in the day, boxers who were coming up in poor, or even wrestlers back then, that's what they used to do. They used to have a bag full of tuna. That's what they did, because it was cheap. And
it's cheap as fuck.
Cheap, portable, doesn't go bad.
Right.
Perfect. You can have it anyway. They have a can opener and a bunch of cans of tuna.
The original creatine.
Oh, man, right there. 15-0, because Tommy Schaefer's knocked out in the 8th round.
Right.
September 30th, 1970, he takes a little time off.
Mm-hmm.
Fights in San Juan, fights Johnny Sandoval again. This time a unanimous decision in 10 rounds. So 16-0.
He is killing it.
He's killing it. Oh, he's doing great. October 19th, 1970, and he's stacking them. It's been not even 2 years. He's got 16
Esteban's
fights
great.
already.
How come I've never heard of this fuck?
I don't know. And he's got a crazy story, too.
Yeah?
Might have been the time, as we'll find out, the time he retired, right before your time.
Okay.
And so, also, too, he's kind of overshadowed in these weight classes by other guys that come along, and we'll talk about them. Because right now, as we're speaking, Roberto Duran is making his name in the same weight class, and he's a huge famous star, so we'll talk about him. And they have a very interesting relationship and very interesting feud and rivalry also.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They have a trilogy of fights.
Yet I don't know Esteban.
Trilogy of fights.
This is crazy.
Wars, too.
Right.
Wars. Great fights. October 1970, he fights Jose Llano of Puerto Rican, who's a 5-0-1 fighter. He won 5 in a row, and then he finishes 5-2-1 in his career. I don't think so.
He lost. It was at 3, though.
Not for me. Yeah.
Three non-wins, and you're done.
This is a knockout in the 7th round for Esteban, bringing him to 17-0. Takes a few months off here from October to April. Lets the brain heal a bit here after that crazy run he just had. He fights in San Juan. He fights Johnny Harp, who's a U.S. guy. He's from the States. 8-6-2 career. He quit with an over 500 record. Not bad.
That's impressive.
Impressive. Well, he loses a 10th round unanimous decision here to Esteban. Now we're going to get into listen to how many rounds he's fighting and think about add these up. Add like a cash register. Add up every blow.
Throw on that green visor and let that tape pop it out of that machine.
They're all debits against your account. You know what I mean? It's not great. So this is Johnny Harp, unanimous decision in 10 rounds. Then less than a month later, May 5th, 1971, and he fights Gustavo Brasino, is a Venezuelan who's a 20-12-4 career guy. This is unanimous decision in 10 again.
Jesus.
So that's 20 rounds in less than a month. He's fought here, 19-0 for Esteban. June 5th, 71, a month later in Caracas, he fights Armando Mendoza of Venezuela, who was 12-1 coming in.
Wow,
he was a
good fighter.
Yeah, he was looking like something. He finished as 17-6 in his career. Didn't quite go the same way.
They started giving him actual fights.
Yes, and this starts with this one. He loses by TKO in round 7, bringing Esteban to 20-0 in 2 years.
27 fucking rounds in 2 months.
Oh, amazing, right? And then July 24th, 1971 here. So that's the next month. He fights Yosu Marquez, 32-10-2 or 32-10-2 career.
That's not bad.
So very good fighter. This is for the Puerto Rican lightweight title.
Wow.
Right here. This is a 12-round fight now, and this goes the distance.
Shit.
All 12. Unanimous decision for Esteban in 12 rounds. Wins the title. He's 21-0. When you get these good fighters that are matched, they go the distance because they're tough. August 7th, 71. So this is 3 weeks later, not 2 weeks later, not even 3, in San Juan. he fights Victor Ortiz, who's a 26-7-0 career fighter.
Yeah.
Not bad. He KOs Ortiz in round 4 of 12, bringing him to 22-0.
Yeah.
Has a daughter, Lillian, around this time. Him and his wife, Nellie.
Yeah.
He's got a wife,
but
Nellie.
He's doing well, so this is acceptable.
This is good.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
Yep.
He got married in the beginning. And
he's fought 43 rounds of boxing in
very
4
quickly.
months. Yeah.
But, he's doing well. So he has a kid, and he's starting to get a little name for himself and that sort of thing. He's going to start making a little money in a minute here. September 4th, 71, a month later, he fights Marquez again, and it's another unanimous decision in 12.
God,
it's another
damn it.
long fight. He's 23-0. The next month, he fight October 6th. A month later, he fights in Caracas, Venezuela. He fights Leonel Hernandez.
Lionel?
It's Leonel.
Oh, okay.
It's a different name. It's not Lionel. I know Lionel. This isn't Lionel. It's a.
I just saw you like.
No.
I assumed because we've been doing so much of a different language that name just fucked you over.
This is some Venezuelan Lionel knockoff right here. This is like, not the brand name.
Okay.
Lionel right here.
The toys?
This is
the
Leonel train set right here. Yeah, they sell these right from Venezuela. They sell them on in fucking Fordham Road in the Bronx 20 years ago. So he's a 50-10-1 career fighter.
Canal Street Lionel.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those jobbers there. Where you get the fake, where in the 90s you'd get the fake guest sweatshirts.
Right,
you know, how that works. That looked really good.
Yeah.
But
the G's backward.
That happens. So no, these were good knockoffs back in the day. Oh, fuck yeah, everybody shopped there. Like, I'm not paying that much. Everybody I know went down to the Bronx. You went down to East 233rd and Fordham Road, and they had all the fucking
blankets with shit laid out on it.
It was store like people set up selling shit. It was a whole they were selling legit shit too, and then they'd sell knockoff fucking gear. And the fucking cops in the 90s, it's 1993 Bronx.
Yeah.
They didn't have time to worry about somebody selling a knockoff Tommy Hilfiger shirt. Like we had a murder rate to deal with at that point. This wasn't like shiny fucking Disney New York. This was like real New York still. So different things. You could buy whatever you want.
This is grimy New York.
And then you can get a quarter-pound of weed from the Jamaicans right next door. So you can get a sweatshirt for cheap and a QP of weed from a Jamaican who threatened your life probably and had a gun on him, but still he sold it to you for pretty cheap, and you could get back up with pretty good stuff and you get out of there. So anyway, old Lionel Train Hernandez here loses in the 10th round unanimous decision. So October 20th, 71.
Oh my God! Right around the corner.
2 weeks later, he fights in Caracas against. He's like, I'm here. Fuck it, I'll fight again. He fights Frank Leroy, who is a 2-8 career fighter.
Jesus.
He knocks Leroy out, but in the 10th round.
Jesus.
So I mean, he's
from May to October,
lot.
that is 75 rounds.
Dude, so many
that
fucking
is
rounds.
So much.
October 30th, 10 days later, he fights again in Caracas. He's like, I am here. I'm all comers. I will beat anyone in Venezuela's ass. I don't give a fuck. Line them up.
Like Happy Gilmore at the golf course.
That's what it is. He absolutely did. And
who wants to fucking drive against the golf ball whacker guy?
Yeah.
Who wants to fight
too bad
actual
Valero.
Boxing? This is bananas.
It's crazy.
2 weeks later, he fights a legit fighter.
More fighters, and imagine if Valero was in Venezuela at this point too, but he was a kid. He wouldn't imagine those two crossing paths. As we'll find out later, they would have had a party together. These two. So October 30th, he fights Milton Mendez, a Colombian, 8-16-4 for his
November?
career. No, October 30th, 10 days later.
Oh, my God, right around the corner.
He had 3 fights in October.
Shit.
3 fights in 30 days in one calendar month.
Wow.
Knockout in round 5 of old Milton Mendez, bringing him to 26-0. December 10th, 1971 in Caracas, he fights his first linker. Hey, 27 fights before I got to a guy that I didn't have to do extensive fucking investigative research on. Jesus Christ, fuck you, Esteban de Jesus. I love the boxing episodes because I love boxing and I like talking about boxing, and I find that their crimes are always crazy and fun and they're always a good time.
Yeah.
But God damn it, the boxing episodes take me so long to do. So fucking long to do. Jesus, it's brutal. December 10th here, he's fighting his first linker, who's Antonio Gomez, a Venezuelan, who is a 43-7-2 career fighter.
Wow.
43 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws. Only 2 losses coming into this fight. So this is a no-joke fight.
It's also tough to investigate these because with baseball, you're looking at just their stats. You don't care about the rest of their team.
Yeah,
and you don't have to. If you had to do the same research for these as you do for those, like for those as you do for these, and you had to investigate every dude that ever played for the other fucking team,
it'd be horrible.
Holy Christ!
We'd
how many washouts?
Yeah, we'd have one show a month.
How many washouts of the Yakima Sun Kings are there?
For fuck's sake! Jesus Christ! I swear to God, we'd do one show a month and that'd be it. And I'd be angry the whole time. Like, here's your fucking show, all right? You happy now? Great. There, good. See ya. I'll be back in my hell now. This fight goes the distance. All 10 rounds goes to decision, and Esteban loses a unanimous decision this time for his first loss. Now, he is fighting a Venezuelan in Caracas, and it goes to the judges. That's not
going to be a little bit favored.
That's not great. And boxing is it's known for that. And a lot, especially too, these kind of countries where safety and security isn't a great issue. They might think they might kill us if we vote
give
for
it
him
to the guy away team.
Yeah, we might not get out of here alive. So, let's do this here. So he's 26-1. February 14th, 72. He takes a couple months off. Heal his fucking head.
Sure.
He fights in Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan versus Percy Hales of Jamaica. He's a 35-30-6 career fighter. This one goes the distance again, 10 rounds. Esteban wins, though, 27-1. Finally, April 10th, 1972, he's fighting in the States.
Yeah.
And I know Puerto Rico's part of the United States. I get that.
Yeah.
Mainland. He comes to the fucking mainland. Yeah. Fights in the Felt Forum in New York City.
Holy shit.
That's Madison Square Garden, small arena spillover. 5,000 seats about.
It's a
Felt
lot.
Forum. Yeah, it's where they do the boxing. It's an awesome place for boxing.
Sure.
He fights George Kid Foster. He fights George Foster of the Mets and Cincinnati Reds with his giant afro. I would take George Foster of the Reds over Esteban because he was the meanest looking son of a bitch I've ever seen, George Foster. He frightened me. As a child, him and Reggie Smith looked like they would fuck you up. So anyway, he fights not the same George Foster, by the way. He's a 13-6-1 fighter, George Foster, and this is his last fight.
Really?
He is TKO'd in round 8, and he thinks better of fighting.
He's had enough.
After that, he said, I'm good now. 28-1 now for Esteban at this point. And he is a great left hook at this point. He's a fantastic counterpuncher. He suckers people in, and he's a great counterpuncher.
Sure.
And if you leave yourself open, he will drop your ass with that hook.
Sure.
May 1st, 1972, Felt Forum. He fights Marquez again, this time not in Puerto Rico.
Right.
TKO in 12 rounds that time, so long fight. Great fights, too, 29-1 total. July 8th, 72, back to Hiram Bithorn Stadium. Angel Robinson Garcia of Cuba, who has a 138-80-21 record.
138, 80, and 21.
Shit.
That is so many fights.
That is 249 fucking fights.
Shit.
I'm sorry, 239 fights.
He quit 50-50 almost. He quit almost 500.
That's
one under.
Fucking unreasonable.
That's so many fights.
That's so many fights. And this goes the distance.
Oh boy.
How much brain damage does Robinson Garcia have? Holy shit. This is a unanimous decision. Esteban wins in 10. 30-1. July 28th, 72. Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
This is it here. This is a money fight.
Yeah.
This is man. You could buy the whole town of where you're from for this fight. This is good shit.
Yeah.
He fights Chuck Wilburn.
Oh boy.
You don't get any more American sounding than Chuck Wilburn. Hey Chuck, how's it going?
He boxed him in American flag trunks.
He absolutely did. He came out. He's very white, very square, no definition to his physique.
Triangle patch of chest hair.
That's it. He came out, all right, mister, let's get it on. And then he goes the distance with Esteban.
Okay.
He's 10-1 coming in, Wilburn, by the way. Esteban wins this. He unanimous decision here. Wilburn, after the fight, said that he felt he'd been overmatched.
Okay.
He just said he felt Esteban was a better fighter, and he was just overmatched by him. Yeah, and it's true, too.
Very
this
friendly
guy,
American.
Yeah, he was like, that guy whooped my ass. Didn't hit me hard enough to kill him, to hurt me, but fuck did he beat my ass. I feel like I got bee stings all over me. September 18th, 72, in San Juan, he fights Raimundo Diaz of Brazil. He's a 25-10-7 fighter. Another distance. Goes 10 rounds again.
Jesus Christ.
So much brain damage. Esteban wins October 30th, 72. So a month later in San Juan, fights Don McClendon, who's a 12-21-2 fighter. Guess how long it goes? The fucking distance
You're damn right.
again. 33-1, though, for Esteban.
This is when boxing gets boring.
Yeah, this is well, actually, it's these guys.
You like those?
They're so if a heavyweight fight goes 10 and gets a unanimous decision, it's usually boring.
Yeah,
130 pounds. These guys threw so many blows.
Tagging each other.
It's the most exciting. Some of these fights are so fucking exciting.
Well, I could watch that, but if they're just dancing
like
around
Ward
being
and Gotti,
defensive,
no, that's not these guys.
That.
These guys throw blows. They drop
Although
punches.
sometimes those can be exciting too, because you're on the edge of your seat waiting for that one blow that ends the whole thing.
This is like Ward Gotti, drop bombs on each other, throws like a Rocky movie come to life. It's just people throwing fucking everything here. People are starting to really be impressed by him now. They saw him in Madison Square Garden. They think he's a badass. They do think Roberto Duran is will kick his ass, though. Yeah. That's one thing. He was recently won the lightweight championship, and they think Duran's just too mean and too tough to be taken down. And Duran at this point is coming off back-to-back first-round knockouts.
Okay.
And they're talking about who he's going to fight next, and De Jesus' name comes up here. He's a Puerto Rican, and so that's something. He's like, okay, we could fight him. He said this might be a good fight for in New York City too. He's going to have a good fan base of Puerto Rican people. He's going to bring into the fight, so he'll draw. He just fought at the Garden and he won. So they're like, okay. So they plan this fight. He's supposed to fight in November against Duran in the Madison Square Garden. So this is a fucking huge fight. Huge fight. So Duran, before the fight, a couple weeks before the fight, he's driving up a hillside. And he's driving up a hillside at home. He veers off the road and hurt himself. Not severe life-threatening injuries, but enough to fuck him up pretty good. He had cuts to his lips and an elbow he messed up, and he just hurt himself type of thing. No airbags, no, absolutely not. So what he would do, though, because he's a tough, kind of a machismo son of a bitch, they said he shrugged it off, drank a whole bunch that night, and then just went to America the next day.
Wow.
So fuck it, I'm fine. No worries. I'm doing it. So November 17th, 72, Madison Square Garden, Roberto Duran and Esteban De Jesus. Duran is 31-0 coming in, man.
Jesus.
Wow. De Jesus' trainer, Benitez, here said, quote, I expect my man to knock out Duran by the 8th round. It had been De Jesus' dream to fight in Madison Square Garden, and we will win the fight one way or another.
Wow.
So he's saying they're going to fucking win. This is not for the title, Duran's title. This is a 10,000 fans it draws.
Yeah.
And most of them they're Puerto Rican, so they want De Jesus to win here. Boxing is very clannish in terms of country.
It's very racist.
It's very racist. Yeah, if you're in Ecuador and you want to see that Venezuelan get his fucking head beat in, just the way it is.
And everybody wants the French to lose.
Yeah, and they're also too. And he's good too. De Jesus he's a hard puncher. Mm-hmm. He's tough. So they start the fight. They had some old boxers there as guests of honor. They sit down. 30 seconds in, everybody's moving around. 30 seconds in, Esteban just lands the left hook from the heavens and fucking knocks Duran down.
Okay.
This is the first time he's been knocked down in his career, Duran. Ever. And this
first time his knee hit the mat.
First time he's been hit on the ground. First time the refs ever had to count and or do anything. He's never been knocked down. This is 30 seconds into the fight. He's knocked down. So he's got to be thinking, whoa.
Puerto Ricans are losing their mind.
Losing their fucking mind because everyone the odds are hardcore in Duran's favor. He's a tough son of a bitch, man. He gets up at 6, though. He's pissed off.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's pissed off. He's super aggressive after that, but he's the press said he appeared flat-footed and disinterested.
Yeah.
It was I don't know what it was, but Esteban took control. Harold Letterman, the boxing analyst, said, quote, he just came out of the corner and took it right to Roberto Duran. They seemed to be boxing on even terms, so to speak, in the middle rounds, and all of a sudden he threw a left hook and caught Duran in the jaw, and Duran was sitting on his rear end looking up at De Jesus. And when Roberto got up, it wasn't the same Roberto Duran.
Wow.
So that's it. He took the aggression out of him.
Yeah.
Roberto's used to just coming in and bullying you, and he came in to bully and got popped with a left hook that he didn't see and got knocked down. Now he's like, oh shit, I might not see a punch coming that's going to knock me down. That just makes you gun shy.
Fighter.
Makes you gun shy. Yeah, absolutely here. So this goes the distance, the full distance, and it is a unanimous decision for Esteban.
Wow.
De Jesus beating Duran for the first time, which is pretty crazy. It was pretty impressive, and this is a huge deal in boxing.
This is a title fight.
This is not a title fight, but it's a huge deal in boxing that Duran got beat.
Got it.
Humongous. Especially, it wasn't a lucky punch. He went the distance and just got beat.
And he got
outclassed.
put on his ass.
And got knocked down. They're just like, whoa. So back in Puerto Rico here, Coliseo Roberto Clemente in San Juan. Everything's probably named after Roberto Clemente there.
I'm sure it is.
It's not named after De Jesus, and we'll find out why. It should be at this point. You're thinking he's going to have statues of him everywhere. They're going to take those statues down pretty fucking quick because he's got some shit coming up. Let's just say that. Oh, this gets now it's all boxing. This gets as crazy and off the rails as anything that we've ever happened. It is wild what happens to him. He fights Ray Lampkin, a 34-6-1 career fighter, 19-0 coming in. 12 rounds, unanimous again, decision for Esteban. This is for the NABF light heavyweight title.
Great.
So Esteban's a champion. He's a champion. He's 35-1. Good for him. April 16th, 73, again at the Coliseo there in San Juan. He fights Johnny Gant. 10-round unanimous decision again. So we're getting all these decisions, all of these rounds, adding up. At this time, he and Nellie, his wife, have a second daughter named Vivian. So she's pretty fertile, and they're popping out kids. Every 2 years, they're going to have kids in the 70s. That's how it works here. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about our sponsor, Simply Safe Security Systems.
Yeah, simplysafe.com.
Simply Safe, that's simply with an I,
correct.
Not a Y. SIMPLI. Safe.com. This company in the last few years has transformed into the fastest growing home security company in the nation, protecting over 2 million people. And something very exciting, they've just released their brand new security system, the all new Simply Safe. It's completely rebuilt in design. They've added new safeguards to protect against power outages, downed Wi-Fi, cut landlines, bats, hammers, and everything in between. The all-new Simply Safe was redesigned to be practically invisible with sensors so small you can even blanket your home in protection and never notice. You know who will? Intruders. That's right. Who. This is what's truly remarkable. Simply Safe spent years building this system. They've added so much, seriously, but you still get the same fair and honest price. 24-hour protection for only $15 a month and no contract. You can't beat that. It's smaller, faster, and stronger than anything they've ever built before, but supply is very limited. Visit simplysafe.com/sportscrime now to order. simplysafe.com/sportscrime.
Simply Safe, SIMPLI, safe.com/sportscrime.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
To the show.
May 21st, 73. Raul Montoya, he fights. Unanimous decision, 10 rounds again. These rounds are every month.
That's
He's
a
fighting
lot.
Long
That is a lot.
Fights. Yep, absolutely.
Tyson never did that.
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Once a year, at best.
Yeah, and God, heavyweights, they can't get hit that much. But still, back then, guys would fight. We've done this before where I'm rattling these off.
It happens so much.
Oh, my God. Even like Riddick Bowe in the beginning of his career. Heavyweights.
Too
many. July 14th at the Felt Forum.
Now he's crowdsourcing his rent.
Jesus, what a disaster, Riddick Bowe. You poor bastard. Felt Forum again. Ray Lampkin again.
Yeah.
12-round unanimous decision because now it's a title fight, so they're fighting 12. He's 38-1. Panama City on September 8th, 73, fights Radames Checo.
Okay.
This guy is 0-15 in his career.
Did he win this fight?
He lost this fight. He's 0-4 coming in. KO in round 1.
0-15.
First round knockout this time.
15 fights to change his mind.
Maybe I'm bad at this.
I would 3.
You think I'm bad at this?
0-3.
But
I'll
never
do
it
again.
I love it,
no,
though. I'm going to keep doing it.
don't.
He's like that comic that just keeps going to the open mics, and you're like, stop.
0-15.
You're terrible. Just stop it.
Holy shit.
October 29th, he fights Miguel Mayan, who wins a unanimous decision in 10 rounds. So he fights the garbage guy, knocks him out, and then we're right back to these long ones. He fights Al Foster in November of 73, knocks him out in round 1, actually. Again, he's a garbage fighter, though, 14-25 career. January 7th, 74, he fights Alfonso Peppermint Frazier. That is amazing. From Panama. He's a linker. That guy sounds like he makes candy.
Peppermint.
It's Peppermint Frazier right there. That's amazing. I want to be Alfonso.
At least they recognize that sugar is overused.
That's
you know
true.
What I mean?
He's
That's
peppermint.
What they were going to use.
Oh, he's minty, though.
They were going with sugar first.
He's sharp on the tongue right there. Alfonso Peppermint Frazier.
He'll open up your nasals. That's what he'll do.
He sounds like a businessman who gets brought down by a child molesting ring, doesn't he? Alfonso Peppermint Frazier last year when he
always has those candies.
Computer files were
always
uncovered.
handing those peppermints to the kids.
That's right. This fight goes 10 rounds, but it's a knockout in the 10th round.
Let Uncle Peppermint help you out with them PJs.
Uncle Peppermint. Hey, everybody, why don't you come stay at Uncle Peppermint's house? We're going to have lots of fun. You know how Uncle Peppermint
Plenty
gets down.
coloring books.
We're going to take our sleeping bags out. And me, you. That's right, Uncle Peppermint. Going to put his sleeping bag right down on the floor next to you.
Right next to yours.
Going to read you a story.
There's plenty of room in mine for you.
There will be peppermint there. Don't you worry. Uncle Peppermint got peppermint candies. He got a great big old peppermint stick. Come find Uncle Peppermint. Come on down, sit next down to Uncle Peppermint, would you?
My peppermint stick filled with something chewy.
Now, kids, come sit on Uncle Peppermint's lap. I'm going to tell you a story about when I was a young boy.
This is getting gross.
Now, when I was a young boy, I had an Uncle Peppermint.
Yeah.
And I said I didn't think it was the right thing to do either, but he told me it was. And you know what? If he wasn't right, I'll tell you something. So
now I'm going to show you what Uncle Peppermint taught me.
Uncle Peppermint's a linker, so I'm loving Peppermint Frazier at this point. Knocks him out in the 10th round. Now, 74... there's a rematch in the works between Esteban and Duran. And at this point, this is when his trainer, Benitez, finds out that Esteban is using drugs now.
Oh, boy.
Now it's getting to be, and it's not just weed anymore. Now it's Coke, and now he really likes Coke, and now he has money to buy Coke.
He can afford the Coke.
Now he can afford Coke. Right. So now life is getting different here. The trainer, he says, Benitez said, quote, "I knew that he used cocaine. He didn't use it to fight. An undercover cop came to me and said that Esteban used to be out at midnight with bad people, and they knew that he used drugs. I told him that if he wanted to keep boxing, he should quit drugs." Yeah. He said, "What?" He denied it. So he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "I don't know. I'm just, me and Peppermint are hanging out with some kids. It's all natural and all healthy and fine." So they said, Benitez said that Esteban would give a bunch of money to a drug dealer named Louis, who we'll talk about in a minute too.
Sure.
And he would basically pay Louis to be like his... Louis would then take his money and he would take him to parties,
of course,
that were Coke and women parties.
Of course.
So it would be like, I pay you some money.
I didn't buy anything from them.
You take me to this party.
I loaned Louis some cash.
And Louis, Louis would, these were cocaine and women are plentiful. These are parties.
Coke and Pussy Den. That sounds great.
Rich guys it's like Willie Mays Aiken's parties that guy was setting up. Same thing. So March 16th, 74. This is Panama City. Roberto Duran. He's fighting Roberto Duran, who has not lost since the last fight against Esteban, and he's good and fucking pissed off now.
Yeah.
16,000 people there.
Oh boy.
Crazy fight. This temperature's over 100 degrees at ringside.
Holy
It's hot
shit.
as fuck there.
And they're gonna fight in that shit.
Yeah, they were having a hard time making weight too. They tried to postpone. Benitez tried to have the fight postponed, saying that Esteban suffered a cut while he was sparring, but he really couldn't make weight.
Wow.
They were having trouble, and then but it's $40,000, and so he had to get in there anyway.
Yeah.
So he gets in there, and Roberto Duran, same thing. He had a hard time making weight, whole deal. They get in there. Duran is pissed. Okay, he comes in opening round, fucking attacking the shit out of Esteban. He wants to kill him. Esteban comes in with a left hook, and wouldn't you fucking know it? Wouldn't you know it? Knocked him on his ass again. One more time. He's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
First round knockdown again, Duran. So he's super pissed. He gets up super quick. He's upset.
Yeah.
He's pissed off, and he just beats Esteban's ass the whole rest of the fight.
Really?
He took control. After the third round, it was just a beating. In the seventh round, a right hand knocks Esteban down. He gets up, but, just keeps getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled. And at the end of the 10th round, he goes into his corner. This is fucking nuts. He goes into his corner at the end of the 10th round and tells Benitez that he's done.
Yeah.
He tells his trainer, he can't go anymore.
Yeah.
I'm drained.
Yeah.
I fucking had to drop all this weight. It's 100 degrees out, and he's kicking my ass.
Right.
I'm done. I
It's
got
over.
nothing left. So what Benitez said, fuck you, you're not going out there. Get your ass out there. He pulls him up and literally pushes him into the ring.
God.
And the bell rang.
Wow.
Get the fuck out there, asshole. Now, your trainer's supposed to be protecting you, number one.
And he's trying to murder you.
He's trying to murder you. Gets in there. Jesus gets out of the corner, and this last 30 seconds of the round, and Duran knows that he's wobbly.
It's over, yeah.
He comes in and just whoops him. He just beats him good, sends him down finally, and he takes the full count of 10 from his knees.
Jesus.
He just gets up on his knees and can't get up anymore. He's drained. He couldn't. He physically couldn't get up. Like, he tried. He's got heart.
Is there shame in staying in the
Fuck
corner
no.
though? You know what I mean?
No, he physically couldn't.
That's my point.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid. He just couldn't lift his arms anymore.
Right? Is there shame in that at all? Why'd the fucking trainer push him out?
Because he saw that as
a weakness?
It was against him. He wasn't trained properly then. He would have been. I think that's what it was. Or he's just a dick and was used to doing that to his kids. He thought he was in a backyard when his kid was 7.
Thought this was a 9-year-old.
There was $3 on the line here, all in bets.
You go get me that gas money.
So now he's 42-2. Esteban is June 10th, 74. But there's no shame in losing that fight to Duran. Duran's an animal. He fights Gerardo Ferrat, TKOs him in 5 rounds, gets his groove back. September 2nd, 1974, in San Juan, he fights Javier Ayala, who's a 26-1 fighter. He goes, I'm quitting before it gets worse. This is a unanimous decision in 10 rounds. This is 44-2 for Esteban. Now I keep wanting to call him Jesus because it's De Jesus, and I keep going Esteban because I want to say Jesus.
I keep thinking of Gina De Jesus, one of the girls that was kidnapped in Ohio. That Ariel Castro. That was one of his girls.
That's fucking interesting.
That sucks that I just
gave him some free pub.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just fucking made her be his forever in that sentence. You know what I mean? That's not his girl.
Well, Candy Maldonado doesn't make candy either,
true.
so we make mistakes. No, we don't mean to.
Gina's a terrific girl, I'm
You're
sure.
Great,
of it.
Gina.
Right.
I hope everything's going well for you in your life. March 1575 in Caracas. He fights Jesse Lara. He's an American. He's a 15-40-5 career fighter. KOs Jesse in round 3. May 17th, 75, Panama City. He fights Antonio Cervantes. This is for the WBA World Super Lightweight title. This guy, Cervantes, is 71-9-3 coming in.
Wow.
So he does some fighting.
That's a real fighter.
That's a fighter, yeah. This goes the distance of 15 rounds.
Wow.
15 rounds. They used to fight title fights back then.
That's crazy.
That is obscene.
That's too much.
You can't fight for 15 rounds, and they did it constantly back then.
Eventually, after 15 rounds, you're going to, as a judge, like... That's just too many
pay
rounds.
Attention. It's
you
grueling.
lose track of how.
It's fucking grueling.
How are you going to remember round 5 after you've 15 rounds?
That's a great point. He's 40.
Too many.
So, but he loses. Esteban
does. He does.
Unanimous decision. He's 45-3 now.
He went all 15.
And he's all 15.
Fuck.
And he's depressed from this, but he tried to go up in weight, too, is the other thing. So he's depressed in this. So what do? You have to have another kid, I think. And he has a son this time.
Right.
He has his first son in 75. Jimmy, what do you think he names him? I'll give you one guess.
Oh, fucking course. Mr. DeJesus Jr.
You bet your ass. Fuck.
Fucking Junior.
Damn it. October 11th, 75. Guy, he fucked it all up. Damn it. He could have.
What a dipshit.
He could have had a fine life, Esteban, and he went and named his kid Junior.
He could have retired from boxing, not done coke ever again, and been fine with his 2 daughters.
Oh, boy. He's going to be doing so much more coke in different ways.
Little Antonio or some shit.
If coke was the worst of it, too, that would be great for him.
That would be fantastic.
Little Antonio. October 11th, 75, he fights Rudy Barrow of the Philippines. This is a TKO in 5 rounds. At this point, he signs with new management.
Okay.
He gets rid of Papa Benitez here. Papa
keeps thinking about that time that Papa pushed him back into the fucking ring.
I think he's not happy about that. He probably had a few more fights left on the contract. Papa Benitez gets $25,000 for him. He sells him basically to Jose Pantalones Santiago.
His name is Pantalones?
That's his nickname.
Okay.
Pantalones. Jose, quote, Pantalones Santiago.
Jose Undies Santiago.
Exactly.
The guy's nickname is Captain Underwear.
That's ridiculous, man. So he says,
awesome.
Benitez said he wants to concentrate on his son's career and he doesn't have time for this shit. His son Frankie Benitez, which turns out to be a very sad story. He was a really good fighter and then went off and started losing some fights.
Frankie
and
was?
It was Frankie, his kid, and Papa Benitez here said it was all the women. He said it was all women were for his son's downfall. He said, quote, he likes to play. He said he was he said his child was not welcome in his home or part of his family because he slacked on boxing. That's amazing. Now, Gregorio.
He got mad at him because he enjoyed pussy?
Yes.
He
ruined his boxing career.
A lot of people get into a lot of things just for sex. You know what I mean?
No shit. And Gregorio Jr. at this point was really starting to show signs of bad brain damage.
Oh, really?
He was 20-something years old and showing horrible brain damage signs because, he was forced to fight from the time he was 4. Now, Jose Santiago is actually a baseball player. He was, he played with Cleveland's A team, the Dayton Indians. He went to St. Wilkes Indians.
Okay.
He ended up going up to the majors in 1954, pitched in part of 2 seasons for the Cleveland Indians. He was 2-0 with a 2.36 ERA.
Wow.
This guy. So now he's going to manage boxing.
All right.
He was very outspoken against, he did not like white American people. And didn't need it. He thought there was prejudice against him from them, and so he said, fuck them, basically. Now, he had a trainer for him, because that's the manager. The trainer's Manny Siaka. He's they call that he's a nicer trainer. He's not a fucking lunatic, basically. Him and his wife become friends with Esteban and his wife, that sort of thing. But at the moment, they all have this new client, and everything's great, and everybody thinks it's great, but his drug problem is getting out of control, Esteban's. He's a complete drug addict at this point. It doesn't matter what's going on. He's trained. It still doesn't affect his boxing at all.
Yeah.
He's training hard. He's present at home, but when he goes out at night,
he's partying.
He is doing a shitload of coke.
All right.
During this time, they say his drugs slowed down a lot, though. When he got reinvigorated with boxing.
Okay.
Now, Siaka's wife Nitsa said that DeJesus was very close to their family. He said he didn't like too much of a crowd. He was a very kind man, sweet and courteous. I never saw him angry.
Oh.
So everybody says that in his whole life. No one ever saw him angry.
Yeah.
Ever. He never snapped. He was just calm and collected, like a lot of fighters are.
Yeah.
They're calm and collected till they get brain damage. Now, March 6th, 76 in Puerto Rico, he fights Valente Ramos, who is 2-4 coming in and finishes his career 2-10.
Oh, shit.
Not great here. So we'll tells you what happened here. TKO in round 2 of 10. Esteban's 47-3.
Jesus, he's doing great.
Yeah, he really is. Now, this point, though, he has gone from smoking a little weed, partying, getting girls, to snorting a bunch of cocaine, to now shooting up cocaine.
And also fuck parties.
Right. Now he's decided to start shooting up cocaine.
Yeah.
And it's at this point in the next year or two, where not only is he shooting up cocaine, but he's doing speedballs now. He's doing heroin and cocaine together, which, as we all know, is excessively dangerous when it comes to, breathing and your heart beating and shit like that. It's not good for you.
It will fuck your cardiovascular system up.
He would shoot up with his friends and with Enrique. Enrique's still there with him the whole time. Enrique is his drug fucking homie.
Yeah.
He sits next to him. He's his drug partner. He was successful, though, in the ring, so it didn't matter. It was one of those things where no one said shit as long as he keeps winning fights.
I think he's finding, interesting places to inject it.
He has to.
Yeah.
He can't do it on his fucking arms. He's got to go out and spar.
He's got to put it on his dick or something.
He's probably doing his dick. He's doing it between his toes. He's doing it
between his sack and his fucking thigh.
And a lot of they do it in their leg.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys, they like to do it in their leg.
In their ass.
Well, I don't know if you can... Because you need to find a vein.
I don't know.
It's not like steroids where you can jam it in your ass.
I mean, probably up your asshole.
Right in your. I think if you do it in your asshole, I think then it's okay.
I'm just thinking of crazy, interesting spots to put it.
In your asshole, it's fine. Now, a reporter, a guy named Chu Garcia, said that he remembers that DeJesus was trying desperately to kick his drug habit at this point. His family was very supportive. They were trying to help him. He tried to go cold turkey at one point, and that didn't work.
No.
Not when you're doing shooting up speedballs. If you're snorting a little coke,
right?
If you're shooting up speedballs, I think that you're beyond that at that point.
You have a chemical dependency that you can't just stop that and expect nobody to notice that.
No, it'd be fine. No, I'll train it out.
No,
it's like in baseball when they go, hey, you drink a case, you sweat a case, and they just hit the exercise bike the next morning if they had a bunch of beer. That's not this.
You can't just drink orange juice instead.
No, I shot up a bunch of speedballs, so I'm going to have to drink the whole thing of orange juice to kick this out.
I need all the orange juice.
He tried lots of things, though. He tried to go cold turkey. That didn't work, so he called in a psychiatrist from Mexico to come work with him. And that didn't work.
No.
So
because that's not a chemical. What the fuck are you doing?
So that didn't work. So he said, well, maybe it's a curse. So he went and visited the local
doctor.
He went to go visit the local Santeria priest. Literally.
He sacrificed a chicken.
He went to do Santeria. He's like, fuck it, Santeria maybe will fucking help me. I don't know.
Chicken's got to die if I want to get clean.
But this chicken's going to die, but either way, I'm not jamming a needle in my dick anymore.
I'm going to bathe in the blood of a rooster and I will be clean.
Would you do me a favor? Would you kill some poultry so I won't jam drugs into my cock? Is that possible? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard right there.
What a fucking bananas thought.
Wow.
Let's drop pentagrams in chicken feet and I won't do drugs ever again.
Jesus. But he's still boxing by May 8th, 1976 in Puerto Rico. This is for the WBC World Lightweight title. He fights Guts Ishimatsu.
Jesus.
Guts Itsumashu. He's a linker. Yay. Yeah. His real name is Yuji Suzuki, but he goes by Guts Itsumatsu.
Okay.
He's a 31-14-6 career fighter. This goes all 15 rounds with Esteban winning a unanimous decision. This is all the press clippings said it was a 20,000 seat capacity, full house, total one-sided fight. And by the judges, Ishimatsu didn't win one round. And shouldn't have. They said Esteban took control and
he was on coke?
Just kept beating him. Almost like he had the fury of a guy on coke, but the calm of a guy on heroin. It's a really yin and yang balance that he had going on here. It's really good. Pretty tough stuff here.
It's amazing.
So the Ishimatsu fight, one-sided, like I said. He opened up, DeJesus opened up a cut on his cheek at one point, and the fight was almost stopped several times, just in terms of DeJesus was whooping his ass so bad. The ref was like ready to jump in there, and then he would slip himself away and save himself for another round. He's very excited. He celebrates by going out that night and doing a fucklout of cocaine. Just absolutely lighting the town up with coke, loving it. But he went out. He doesn't. This is obviously on his own. He's going out. Esteban at this point is just it's drugs, it's money, it's women. He wants to fucking party. He's having the whole crime and sports meltdown here.
I love it.
Silver-haired middle-aged white men are perpetuating it, propping it up, letting it happen, going, hey, I get that he's shooting up speedballs, but did you see him there with that right hand in the 12th? That's a fucking hell of a right hand. I mean, what are you going to do here? He's cheating on his wife a lot, too, obviously. Nitsa Siaka, again, she says, quote, as soon as De Jesus became champ, it was a new environment. He had new friends, big shots. Then he started using drugs.
I wouldn't call those friends.
No, he was actually using drugs before that, but he started openly using drugs. Quote, when he was champ, he had a lot of money, a lot of power. He was one of the kings of boxing in Puerto Rico. So he's a king of that fucking island when he's a champ. I mean, that's all there is to it. Clemente's dead. You're the king of the fucking island now. That's it, and that's all. So he feels like he can do no wrong. He can shoot up speedballs. Why not? Him and Enrique can go to town. September 10th, 1976, in Puerto Rico, he fights Hector Julio Medina, who is 28-0 coming in.
Wow.
Smoking. This is a 7th-round knockout for Esteban, though. Medina ends up going 28-3 for his career. He ruined this guy.
Wow.
So he has ruined, and we've seen this with good fighters. They will ruin a fighter.
Right.
They will fuck a guy up so bad that they can't do it anymore.
But I like Medina's move there, that you lose 3 and you just fuck it.
He went, all right, I'm done. I had 28 straight, and I think his head, he just ruined his head.
3's all you need.
Destroyed him. I mean,
it.
Fuck, he lost
that tells
the one.
you everything you need to know.
Yeah, 49-3 for Esteban at this point here. Now, September 21st, 1976, he has a little run-in here. He is being sought for questioning in connection, this is in Puerto Rico, in San Juan, with a drug bust at a luxury apartment in San Juan.
Why do they want to talk to him?
A source in the Drug and Narcotics Division of the Puerto Rico Police spoke about it, and they said that a friend of Esteban delivered a check for $39,000 made out in De Jesus's name. To a guy named Falu Fuentes and his wife, Minerva Velia, and both of them were charged with violation of the narcotics law. So they said that this couple was arrested after the check was delivered. They were waiting on them. They confiscated an undetermined amount of drugs they believed to be cocaine and heroin inside their home.
And $39,000 in a check.
In a check. And
what are you giving them that money for?
Exactly. And also seized De Jesus's car, which was being used by the family to transport drugs.
Oh, shit.
So basically, they were kicking up his piece to him. He's fucking financing the situation. They're using his car, I'm sure, in exchange for cocaine as much as he wants. So the police say, quote, we have been trying to locate Esteban to question him about the incident. We only want to know why a check made in his name for such a large amount was given to Falu. Another source there, someone who said they were anonymous, said that De Jesus has been seen in Venezuela that week, and they're talking about him defending his belt and that sort of thing. So they're looking for him for some cocaine issues, and this is not going to be the last time they're going to be looking for him for some drug issues, as you might imagine. This is about to get real wacky here. February 12th, 1977, he fights Shinji Buzzsaw Yamabe, who is a Japanese guy, 26-6-2 coming in. I believe we've spoken of him before on the show.
Buzzsaw? It sounds familiar.
Yamabe. This is a TKO in round 6. This is his 50th win, which is great. Now, not so great. Right after this, he, Esteban, and his friend Louis, the drug dealer, open a restaurant together.
Oh, Jesus.
He gives Louis $40,000 to open this restaurant. This restaurant, of course, fails quickly. Obviously.
Because it's a front.
And it's all Esteban's money that's gone, obviously. He started to become difficult at this point with his family, too. Esteban did. He didn't feel like he needed to. His wife would question him, hey, you were gone for like 3 days. And you look fucked up and you came in, you look like shit. What's going on? And he was fucking pissed off about it. He was like, well,
how dare you
question me? No, he was like, Henry Hill and Goodfellas coming in. And,
That's what I thought, too.
Karen, I got enough to worry about getting whacked on the street. I got to come home for this. That's what he's doing right now. He's like, what's your fight? She's just like, what the fuck? I'm here all the time by myself and you leave and come home. You look like shit. This is insane. insanity. The FBI comes over. They said that, quote, a quiet, gentle soul had become a monster when confronted about drugs or changes with his mood.
Yeah.
That's what a family friend said.
You mean like a heroin addict?
Like a junkie? He's fine. He
got a junkie for a wife.
Hey, you doing drugs over there? They're like, I'm not doing fucking drugs. Fuck you. What are you talking about? I got it under control. I know what I'm doing. His wife, Nellie, would beg him to go see a psychiatrist. Yeah. He needs more than a psychiatrist. He's doing speedballs. He needs medical assistance.
He needs medical attention.
But yeah, he felt insulted by that and would yell at her and lash out and disappear for days at a time.
To go do coke.
to do more coke. Yeah. And that was a good excuse, too. Yeah. How dare you?
I'm leaving.
Because of your actions, I'm leaving for days, and I'm not going to contact you, and I don't know where I'll be. Goodbye. This is your fault, remember? Goodbye. And he goes out and does tons of coke. Right. Any insinuation that he was doing anything that was not perfect,
and
he would freak the fuck out.
In between lines, he's going,
no,
how dare her think I'm doing coke?
He's doing that with a needle hanging out of his arm. He hasn't done lines in years at this point. He's well past lines.
In between plungers.
Yeah, he's all needles now, baby.
He's tying his arm up going, how dare that bitch question me?
He's cooking that shit on the spoon. He's like,
thinking I'm doing coke?
How dare
her?
she? Look at me. Clearly, I'm
no, I don't
control.
Do coke. This is heroin, you dumb broad.
Yeah. And his thoughts were, I'm still boxing. Yeah. I'm still making money.
I've got
obviously I can do what I'm doing, and I'll be fine. Right. And why can't everybody leave me the fuck alone? Let me be the man of the house.
Because you're gonna die, sir.
Make my money and do what the hell I want to do. So June 25th, 77, he fights another linker, Vicente Miares. Mm-hmm. He's 14-0 coming in. Esteban knocks him out in the 11th round.
Great.
So 51-3, not bad. This sets him up for a third fight with Roberto Duran.
Oh, boy.
This puts him here. Don King is the promoter.
Really?
Oh, boy, yeah. Don King is the promoter here.
Don King gets involved with this shit.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think he knows that he's a speedball freak?
I don't think he gives a shit if this guy has a needle hanging out of his eyeball. If he'll draw a crowd, that's what he's happy about. And he wants this match. So it's going to happen here. They start getting the match. They're talking about October or September. Mm-hmm. They're saying that, he beat Duran, so that's a big deal to sell the fight. This is the guy who beat him. He's the last guy for that. Now, in 1977, they're reporting about Frankie Benitez. Remember we talked about Frankie Benitez, the youngest? He was 19, and he was talked out of retirement by his father. He's the rebellious one. And these actions caused him to be just completely ostracized from his family. But brain damage was so bad by 22, he had a mental disability after that forced him to live permanently at a home where he would quietly read the Bible. Can you believe that shit? Had no idea. He's fucking pudding brained. He has no idea what's even happening. He doesn't know that his dad forced him to go puddingify his brain even more.
Yeah.
So James Brackett, he beats him in a unanimous decision in 10. The fight it's set for January 21st, 78, the fight against Duran. 3 days before the fight in Vegas, 3 days before the fight, a Las Vegas judge issues a temporary restraining order. It's sought by a Chicago promoter named Robert Blond, who claims he had a contract with Duran to fight the next month against Vicente Salvador. And also Don King is named in this suit because he's the promoter who's taking him away. Salvador's attorney also says that Blond didn't meet any of his part of the contract, didn't meet expenses for training costs, blah, blah, blah. The judge, it's just a temporary injunction. The judge lifts it when they find out it has no merit. But the fight almost didn't take place. That was 2 days before the fight. January 21st, 78, Caesars Palace in Vegas.
Holy shit.
Big time. Roberto Duran.
This is a 1-1 battle right now.
Yeah.
Each is a winner.
Rubber match.
And that's the one.
And Roberto Duran is 62-1 coming in.
Jesus.
Just fucking badass here.
1 loss is to this guy.
Yeah, 1 loss. This whole thing, both of them had trouble making weight for this fight.
Again?
They said that they were using a water diet, quote, of deprivation from food and exercise. Duran also later said that he starved himself and took tons of pills for diarrhea. He was he was like a fucking like a teenage girl trying to fucking with an eating disorder or something. This guy. Esteban
from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, it's Jesse Spanos. Now Esteban, on the other hand, lucky for him, when he needs to lose weight, he's got a surefire way of doing it. All he needs to do do is jack some cocaine into his veins.
That show, by the way, that fucking moment in that show when they made anorexia hilarious because it's so stupid.
Well, she wasn't the anorexic one. She was taking diet pills to study.
Yeah, but she was going, I'm so excited.
That was to study.
Was really doing exercising to study? She was anorexic in the show, though.
No. She was buying, in that episode, she was taking
diet pills and shit
to stay up and study all night.
Is that all it was?
That's what it was. She wanted to stay up.
It was a fucking eating disorder.
She wanted to stay up and study all night.
I've seen the whole thing, but I recall it being a fucking eating disorder.
She's like, no, I have a test in the morning.
She's taking like no-dos.
It's fucking terrible.
It was no-dos, right?
Zach hugged her and he said, take your top off, sweetheart. It's all right. And then he went into Showgirl started after that. It's a very weird episode of Saved by the Bell. It's a very special episode of Saved by the Bell. It's the merge episode.
Right.
Yeah, that's the crossover right there. I know something that'll make you feel better, sweetheart. Right. You could still dance. Don't worry.
I got a stage and brass bars for you.
You're still gonna dance. Listen, it's all right.
And he's like, he reminds me of somebody that would do that.
Oh,
too.
definitely.
So scummy. All right, going on.
So anyway, this is on national TV.
Yeah.
This is a big fucking deal here.
Yeah.
Duran had a brilliant fight from Duran, if you watch the fight. And DeJesus fought valiantly. I mean, Onslaught, he was really coming after him the first few rounds, but Duran is just too tough, man, in the end. And Duran got stronger as his career went on and as rounds went on. At the end, he was done, but
sure.
Esteban kept trying. He even did a thing where, he'd get a good shot. Duran hit him with a good shot, and he would laugh. He'd do that thing you're not hurting me. But it doesn't matter because that just pisses Duran off even more. And finally, the bout is stopped in the 12th round with a TKO. And he loses his title. Esteban does. He's 52-4 for his career. Duran says, quote, "It was a proud moment because you had two Latino fighters doing battle in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. It was a tough fight. DeJesus is a very good fighter."
Yeah.
And then he says later on about this, quote, "I remember I got drunk after the fight and I ran into DeJesus in the elevator. We were talking and I invited him back to the room to play dominoes. He said he couldn't beat me in the ring, but he could take me in dominoes, but he never showed up." Why? Because he was out to do speedballs.
Banging whores.
And Duran just wanted to have some beers and play some dominoes like a normal fucking person. Jesus Christ here.
Want to come back to my room and play dominoes? If dominoes is code for bang tons of hookers, then I'll be there.
Well, if they have syringes in their hands too here. Going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about TrueCar.
TrueCar.com.
What is MSRP?
It's confusing. That's what it is.
It's exactly what it is. If you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but what does it actually mean? Same goes for invoice, list price, dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you really need is a price that actually means something to you, the buyer. Introducing True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of home. And how do you know if your true price is a great price? Because TrueCar shows you what all the other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, and so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, great site for used cars. Once you register, you'll see real pricing on actual inventory. This is competitive pricing offered to you only by a TrueCar certified dealer for an actual vehicle on their actual lot. It's pricing you'll see before going to a dealership so you can feel confident when you show up. TrueCar customers are more likely to enjoy a faster buying process when they connect with TrueCar certified dealers, while they save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP.
What a deal.
So let me tell you this from us. When you're ready to buy, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Yes, that's true. But go to TrueCar.com to find out. And now back to the show.
Hey, it's Rob Riggle.
And Sarah Tiana.
And you are listening to Riggle's Picks.
Yeah, and a ham horn. And we have a new podcast available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
Every Thursday, we're going to sit around and we're going to talk about the things that really excite us, like life, comedy, sports, a lot of sports.
Ourselves.
A lot of Sarah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you join us.
This was a $150,000 payday for Esteban, biggest of his career.
$150,000 is his biggest one.
Biggest of his lightweight fighters in the 70s. Think about it. I mean, 70s lightweight fight. Ali was the attraction and shit like that.
That finances that lifestyle though. Jesus.
In Puerto Rico, fuck yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good point.
Siaka about this, the wife again said, "Quote: The loss to Duran was a very big thing to him. He felt depressed that it was the end for him, that he didn't have it anymore. So mentally, this broke him. It really did. Really broke him. They said at this point he was not the same guy at all here.
Mentally, he's been broken for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't even know it, but he's got a chemical dependency.
Now he doesn't even have the confidence.
Right. That's what it is. His confidence is broken.
He's going to go farther into drugs here. And Siaka said, he had stopped taking drugs for a while, but he had that group that he went with. Nelly had no control over him. No shit. He fights again in June of '78 in San Juan against Pablo Baez. It's a TKO in the third round. Now at this point, his old Benitez, his old trainer here, is telling he's now saying he wants to sell his kid. He wants to sell Wilford. He says, quote, "I want to sell my kid Wilford. All I'm asking is $150,000, 10% of all his future purses, and 2 tickets to all his fights." This guy's a real fucking prince, isn't it? Isn't he? He's a real nice guy here. San Juan here, he fights, Esteban fights Choo Hernandez, which, Jesus Christ. Choo Hernandez. Doesn't sound like a great fighter. Shocker, he's not. He's 0-1 coming in, and he's 0-2 for his career. So this is like career number 7 that Esteban has ended. Now at this point, it's mid-78. He's always wired. Yeah. He's either so depressed that he can't talk, or he's so jacked on coke that he can't sit still. That's all he does. He'll stay awake for days.
That's not good.
Just fucking days. He was shooting. He's smoking it. He's shooting it. That sort of thing. He says, we have it in their own words. In their own words on the cocaine. In their own words.
He talks about the drug use?
Very briefly. In their own words. Quote, "People take you to parties that have cocaine and then you start using. The worst part is when you open your eyes, it is too late. You are already addicted." Fair enough. Yeah. So at least he knew that. That's later on here. So he's not a nice guy anymore at this point. He yells at people for no reason. Like not even for
there's a
provocation. He's just... He thought everyone was out to get him. Yeah. He got super, super, super paranoid. Yeah. He started talking like the boxing, the matchmakers were out to get him, and they were trying to fuck him over, and he was pissed off, and he was yelling at people, and he would go out and yell at people for no reason. He basically became a selfish lunatic. He'd be up for 3-4 days at a time. Yeah. Fucking smoking cocaine and shooting speedballs. Jesus. You can't do that. You just can't. No. He fights Edwin Viret on October 27, 1978, in Madison Square Garden. This is an actual linker. Yeah. This is a split decision in 10 rounds that Esteban wins. And his opponent here, Edwin, blames Don King for putting the fix in. Okay. Because at this point, Don King is promoting De Jesus' fights. Edwin says of De Jesus, not his fault though. He says, quote, "He was good people, but he's still pissed off at Don King." Years later, they talked to him. He's still mad at Don King for this fucking fight. Today, he's still mad.
It's obviously speculation, but do you think that's what's going on with Randy Quaid?
What?
Do you think he did drugs and now he's a fucking and like this kind of shit? Because he behaves so similar to this.
Yeah, erratic.
And
drug
he's
behavior.
A fucking nut.
Yeah, that's erratic drug behavior. I would say,
live streaming himself having sex with his horrendous looking wife.
Yeah, when I saw Randy Quaid's horse shit, I was like, oh boy, he's on drugs. Wow, holy
that's got to
shit.
be cocaine fueled, right?
I would think
so.
Edwin Viret said of him about Esteban, quote, "Sometimes you get that big money, you got a lot of people talking to you. Sometimes you got a weak mind, you do things you aren't supposed to."
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Still, though, Esteban's 55-4, and he's in his career. And also, too, later on, it's found out he started injecting shit because he didn't like smoking the drugs because he still wanted to have his cardio and his lung capacity in the ring. So he's like, if I shoot it, There we go. Now I can breathe still. So this is good. You know what I mean? October 4th, 79 at MSG, fights Jimmy Blevins, and he wins a unanimous decision. Pretty easily, too, from what I understand. It wasn't a tough fight for him. November 9th, 79, in MSG, he fights Ruby Ortiz, wins a unanimous decision in 10 rounds. He opened up a cut under Ortiz's eye in the 9th round and then opened up another cut on the other side the next round. So this guy was just bleeding like crazy. No knockdowns, but still.
Sure.
Still, he's only 27 at this point, by the way.
That's bananas.
And he's like totally fucking...
And he's the king of Puerto Rico.
He feels washed up, too, and all this. God damn it, it's so bad, man. He gets more into drugs here than ever. He's really just into it hardcore here. He fights Jose Vallejo on May 10th, 1980 in San Juan.
All right.
He's a 2-1 coming in, this guy. Esteban knocks him out in 7th round.
All
he's
right.
58-4. So again, family saying all he's doing is fucking disappearing. He would disappear for long periods of time at a time, injecting shit. He would have like a kit that he kept in the garage, and he'd do shit, and then he'd leave the house all jacked up. He was a mess, man. He fights July 7th, 1980 in the Metropolitan Sports Center in Bloomington, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It's the undercard of the Larry Holmes Scott Ledoux heavyweight title. And if you're a wrestling fan, Scott Ledoux was an AWA referee in the mid-'80s.
Is that right?
Yes, he fought a little feud with Larry Zbyszko in the 80s at, I believe it was Wrestle Rock there, which the Wrestle Rock Rumble we did the song for. He has a part in it, Scott Ledoux.
Awful.
He sounds so brain damaged, it's not even funny. You can't even understand him. He's just mumbling. He's like, that's his part of the rap.
Rock Rumble.
So if you want to hear a heavyweight contender rap poorly, a white heavyweight contender from Minnesota rap, Wrestle Rock Rumbles
that
all
shit
for
is
you.
depressing.
Mm-hmm. He fights Saul Mambi at this point. A linker, another one here. This is for the WBC World Super Lightweight title. This is the fans were up for De Jesus. They wanted Esteban to win. It's a tough fight, actually. Esteban is knocked down in the 12th.
Oh, really?
And then he's knocked down again in the 13th, and the ref calls the fight. He loses, Esteban does, by TKO in round 13 of 15. He's 58-5 for his career. And also, Mambi would later claim that Don King fucked him out of the money and he was not paid shit.
He didn't get paid anyway.
He was not paid shit for this, and then eventually was forced to accept a lesser amount or not get anything. Yeah, that's we know people that do that.
Yeah.
Career... Now, career, he is 58-5, Esteban is, with 33 knockouts. A boxing columnist for a newspaper down there said, quote, Esteban was beloved by fans. He was the biggest fighter in Puerto Rico for a long time. When he beat Duran, he became an idol. Now, in retirement, he starts really fucking up. Now he doesn't even have to train.
Right.
I mean, at least training kept him grounded at somewhat. Like, he could do all the shit, but at some point he had to get his shit together, get in the gym, get up at 4 a.m., do road work.
Yeah.
When you're fighting all day, you can't be shooting up speedballs when you're training for 12 hours. So that keeps him semi on the right path anyway here, but not for a long time, because once he's done, that's it. He's totally fucked here. He's arrested at one point during a raid of like pretty much a crack house in San Juan. It's a big heroin selling house. He's arrested there in a raid. And then another time here, shortly after retirement in 1980, he is arrested for selling a small amount of heroin to an undercover agent. He's selling people fucking heroin. What are you doing? You fucking moron. But he was actually acquitted because of the agent's testimony had a couple discrepancies, and he's also a national hero, and you can stab a guy in the shower in front of 30 people down there, and so... if you're famous, you're not going down in Puerto Rico back then anyway.
Well, at least not easily.
No, absolutely not. And in 1980, his mother dies of a heart attack.
Oh, fuck.
And then that's it. He's
off the rails.
Off the fucking rails. His mother was his like kind of emotional center. The Nitska Siacha said again, Esteban was affected emotionally by her death. He was very depressed. It's terrible. He had a hard time and more drugs. Toward the end of 1980, the summer of 1980, Benitez is back, his old trainer, and asked him to re-team with him. But he said he was kind of basically the trainer said he was kind of more interested in heroin than anything else. Quote, Benitez said, quote, I told DeJesus that I wanted to make him a champion again. Santiago said that he would give me Esteban for free. I would put him in a fight for $15,000. He didn't show up. He said he told him, quote, those people are going to kill you or you are going to kill someone based on all his drugs. Because he didn't even show up. He had a chance to fight again, and he said, not interested. I'll sell heroin to an undercover officer instead. November 25th, 1980. This is not Esteban, but this is Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran. This is one of the most famous fights in the history of boxing. This is the no mas fight.
That might be why I know.
Roberto Duran?
Yeah.
This is the no mas fight.
Okay.
Roberto Duran is an animal. He's a bull. He's a tough, just a bad motherfucker. He comes forward. He's just as bad as it gets, and he should have a reputation of being so tough. But he has this reputation of anytime anybody says Roberto Duran, anybody who knows anything about boxing, the first thing they say is no mas, because that's what happened. He fought Sugar Ray Leonard, and he wouldn't come out in the 8th round. And he said, no mas. I'm done. No more. And so after that, everybody said he was a coward and a pussy and all this kind of thing. He was just hurt.
Maybe Sugar Ray Leonard's just that goddamn good.
He was fucking hurt, and he said he was done. He was done, and that's what happened. But, I mean, he's not a quitter. He never quit before. And the guys know when they're done, and they don't want to go in and be unsafe, too. I mean, if you go in, you don't feel like you can defend yourself.
You can die in there.
Yeah, like Esteban got knocked out quick when he didn't feel like he could defend himself. So that was a sad thing. This is going to haunt Duran the rest of his life, this no mas thing, which is total horseshit because he's one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing. So there's more people start. That's November 25th, by the way. So you can see how their lives cross. That's like the lowest point in Duran's life, this no mas shit. So this is his lowest point, November 25th, 1980. But Esteban is a mess right now. He's out doing drugs. He's out away from his kids. He goes for days at a time, even more now. And on November 27th, 1980, it's Thanksgiving Day. It's 2 days after the no mas fight. They started boxing the same year. Fought their fights together, had all these trilogies. They come together at this point to where no mas is the lowest point for Duran. And now 2 days later, Esteban shoots himself up with a bunch of cocaine that morning and leaves his house in his wife's station wagon. Because you shoot up a bunch of cocaine, you want to drive a station wagon through the streets. I do, anyway.
It should be required to have to shoot up to drive those fucking cars.
Because that'll get him going. But he was super paranoid, super angry. Also, because he's so paranoid and so angry, he always carries around a loaded 25 caliber gun with him now at this point. So he takes off, shoots up, takes off. He's going to get more drugs. Because you got to have more. You know how it goes there. So he does that. He wanted to go make sure he had drugs because he had to spend the fucking day with his family, too. And he had to be high for that. Otherwise, he'd be lashing out at people and that sort of thing here. Now, what happens is he's in his station wagon. There's a sports car driven by an 18-year-old construction worker named Roberto Cintron Gonzalez. Okay. Apparently, at some point, there was a near collision between the two cars. Apparently, this guy was whipping in and out of lanes, or maybe DeJesus was. He's on a coke-fueled mission, so who the fuck knows what happened here. Whatever happened, there was almost an accident, okay? This causes an argument between They're yelling at each other. They're doing all of this thing.
As it does.
As it does. Now, they're arguing at a stoplight. Back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Now, first of all, this kid's an 18-year-old construction worker. He has no idea who he's arguing with.
No clue.
This guy will fucking beat him with his own hands. Like, you don't want to fucking get in an argument with this guy. This is why road rage is stupid. Because you don't know when
you have no idea what that guy's
the lightweight
capable of.
champion of the world is in the car next to you arguing at you.
You probably right now in your car have no idea who the lightweight champion of the world is.
And he
don't
will
know
kick
his
your
name,
fucking ass.
and he will fuck you up.
130 pounds, he will beat your ass. Have you ever seen their surveillance video, and you've seen this because you grew up in Phoenix, of Michael Carbajal, who is like a 105-pound fighter.
He's
literally.
like 5'7", maybe 5'6".
Not even. He's 105 pounds.
Right.
He's a little tiny guy, maybe 110, but he was a champ.
Right.
And it's in a gas station in Phoenix. Somebody starts shit with him, and it's a normal size, bigger guy, and he hits him about 30 times in 2 seconds
before the guy can say Michael Carbajal.
And this guy drops to the fucking ground, and you're like, he had no idea that this little tiny Mexican dude that weighs 100 pounds would whoop his ass so thoroughly and embarrassingly.
He just skillfully knows how to throw
and
hands.
have it shown on the local news repeatedly. So don't fuck with people on the road. So anyway, they're arguing back and forth. The light changed. Basically, the sports car took off. Esteban drove up on the median. On the dividing median,
oh my God.
And drove and gave chase to him, and they're both like zigzagging away. The other guy's riding away, and Jesus is chasing him. They go up and down the Trujillo Alta Expressway. Now he also too, Gonzalez, the kid, he has 2 people with him too. Yeah. He's got 2 people. De Jesus is alone in his car. So they get to. There's a long chase. It's a fucking pretty goddamn lengthy chase through the streets. It's like,
no cops see this shit.
No, it's a chase scene in a movie. They get to a stoplight. Mm-hmm. Once they get to the stoplight, Esteban fires 3 shots out the window and hits Gonzalez. The driver, the construction worker, and drives off fast.
Fuck.
So he shoots off. He does this. So he shoots him with the .25 caliber. This guy dies 3 days later. He dies from his fucking wounds. They finally catch Esteban.
Yeah.
He says that he's so high he doesn't even remember. Mm-hmm. He said he was so high that he has no fucking idea what he even did. 2 witnesses said they positively identified De Jesus. He's one of the most famous people on the island. They picked him out of a lineup, as another driver of another car did also.
Yeah.
They released him on $115,000 bond. Okay. They set the trial for January 7th, 1981. Mm-hmm. He has a first-degree murder charge, 2 charges of attempted murder.
Because there's 2 other people in the car.
And a bunch of firearms violations.
Fuck.
So $50,000 bail on the murder charge, $25,000 each on the attempted murder, $15,000 on the firearms, $115,000 total.
Jesus.
For bail. So he gets out of there. Everybody was shocked.
Yeah.
His family, only his family knew he was what bad shape he was in. Yeah. Everybody else was like, that nice guy.
Right.
What the fuck is going on?
He is unhinged.
Yeah. Harold Letterman, the boxing guy, a boxing commentator, said, quote, he said it's equivalent to finding out that Miguel Cotto was a drug addict and had killed someone. Like, just this nice guy that everybody liked and was considered like a professional guy. And what the fuck, man? So
did Miguel Cotto kill somebody and had a drug
problem?
He
did not kill someone or have a drug problem. He was fine upstanding citizen. So January 16th, 81, he's ordered to stand trial on charges of first-degree murder for this. They found probable cause against him at a preliminary hearing, and she also, said the lesser charges also. They set an arraignment for January 27th, and the trial is set to go in February. So he is sitting now awaiting trial. Like I said, Gonzalez dies 3 days after from his injuries.
Right.
Wow. I mean, fuck. This is like speeding and speeding and speeding and speeding, and you've hit a fucking brick wall.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting there and you hear like shit dripping. You know what I mean? After an accident, there's like weird dripping noises and your engine's doing things, and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
That has to be how he feels like. Because he went on this years of fighting and women and cocaine and speedballs and fucking this and that, and culminates.
And everything's going so great.
Yeah, and culminates in this whole big fucking. And I'm not going to blame it. I'm not going to blame him, but he really started doing drugs so much more when he named his son Junior. I'm just going to say that's actually true. When it went downhill.
That's a fact.
It's really when it went downhill. So I mean, he's fucking sitting there just I mean, imagine his family, too. You've been knowing this was going to fucking happen. You've been knowing this was going to happen, So he's out. He bails himself out. He gets out of jail. And fucking, I hope nobody let him drive home. You know what I mean? Don't let this guy drive,
Did they take
please.
A license from you when that shit happens?
I would hope so.
Well,
then again, it wasn't a traffic infraction, but he was driving on the median. But, so, I mean, he's sitting there. He's walking through the streets, and he's in this bad neighborhood. He's like, this is a bad neighborhood, and he sees everybody seems to be kissing one guy's ass, so he goes, maybe I'll talk to that guy. And it's Esteban Jones, so, MMA fighter and 70s blaxploitation film villain. And he says, motherfucker, how is it you come to arrive here? Man, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? I ain't gonna call you a cracker because you Puerto Rican and shit. I tell you though, see, I don't like Puerto Ricans, first of all, man. I don't play that shit. You Puerto Ricans, you bumping that fucking music. I don't play. Shit. My neighborhood full of motherfucking Puerto Ricans. I never like none of them motherfuckers. I like them girls. They got fat asses. I'll take them girls. I'll sell them. You bet your motherfucking ass. I'll sell me a Puerto Rican girl. But that's about it. Now, you, motherfucker, first of all, you supposed to be selling this shit, not doing it. The fuck is wrong with you? You enslaved the women in your neighborhood. That's how you become something. You out there fighting, shooting shit in your arms, man. What the fuck you doing?
Holy shit.
Stop being a punk-ass motherfucker. Use that as drugs for what they're made for, enslaving women and using them for your own financial gain, motherfucker. What's wrong with you? Shit. Cracker motherfucker. Yeah, I did it. That's what I called you, cracker. I said I wouldn't, but you're acting like it, so fuck it. This is why I don't like Puerto Ricans. Right here, motherfucker. This is what I mean. Poof. In a puff of leopard print and gold chains, he's gone. He's out of there. And Esteban he said, did I inject something and didn't realize it? Because I just saw something crazy.
Somebody's told me to enslave bitches.
I guess maybe I should have done that. Fuck. So May 14th, 1981 is the verdict on this. He is found guilty of murder.
Wow.
Over this whole thing, and he is sentenced to life in prison.
What?
Life. He gets life in prison. So he went from just, like I said, like he hit a brick wall, man, and just everything to life in prison like that.
Wow.
That's crazy, man. That's what a mistake to make. So he's incensed. The judge said, quote, "Unfortunately, I am convinced of your guilt," and finds him guilty of first-degree murder and says, "You, sir, may fuck off. Life in prison."
Sentence.
Life in prison.
In fucking Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rican prison.
Wow.
He's convicted. Man, it's bad here. It's also, in addition to that, separate sentences of 5 years and 6 months for the firearms violations as well. Terrible, man. So DeJesus says in court about this, they ask him if he has anything to say, and we have it in their own words on it. In their own words, quote, "I injected myself with cocaine. It hit me very hard. I felt the reaction very badly. Then I left in my wife's car. I didn't even know that I was killing someone. My wife told me that I killed someone. I feel very bad for what I did."
Wowza.
He had no fucking idea. And I believe him, honestly. I don't think he had any idea what the fuck he was doing.
You got him.
I think he was that out of it where I don't know if he knew what he was doing.
Like that, like chasing him, and then you just instinctually grab a pistol.
I don't know. I've never injected cocaine.
Believe fuck that he's saying.
No, I've never injected cocaine, so I can't make a good judgment on this.
I think he got in a road rage incident. Yeah. I think he grabbed his pistol, let a few off, didn't expect to hit anybody and kill him.
Probably not.
And was quite surprised to find out somebody died from his actions.
I would say.
I think he's blown away.
But
I think that he's shocked. But to say he didn't know what he was doing.
I don't know if he didn't know what he was doing. This is
for him to say, I didn't know, I don't believe him.
This is definitely like aberrant behavior, though, for him. He's never shot at anybody else.
True.
He doesn't attack people normally. He's never had a physical attack on anybody or something like that. So this is brain damage plus cocaine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Equals, I don't know what the fuck I was doing.
I didn't take into account the brain damage,
I've done a lot of 12 and 15 round fights, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's why.
I didn't take that part into account. You might be right. He may just have no fucking clue.
He might be a mess.
Yeah.
So let's find out how prison worked out for him. His Manny Siaka, the old trainer, said, quote, "He was just a great boxer and a great human being. The only problem was the drugs. They ate up his life."
Yeah.
Esteban says about this whole thing, quote, "You start with friends, and you start first with friends, and you get so wrapped up with the drugs that before you know it, you're hooked. Yeah. They take you to parties, and you start using stuff, and the worst part is you open your eyes and you're addicted," like he said before. He repeated himself later. While in prison, he finds God.
Oh, boy.
There's crime and sports rule. He's junior. He's moved back home. He's finding God. He's he's already killed people, so it doesn't matter. He's already broken the worst rules.
It's over.
He becomes a born-again Christian and even becomes a minister in prison. He tends to a small chapel, gives daily sermons to his fellow inmates.
How do you I get born again. I get that you're supposed to just say, "Oh, he's atoned. It's over."
Yeah.
But how do you listen to a man tell you what the Bible says when you know he has had his mouth on a Puerto Rican hooker's asshole?
Oh, without a doubt.
He's done horrible things to so many women. How do you?
He's had his nose in there sniffing coke out of it. He's probably shared needles with them and everything else. So
no, sir. I don't want to hear anything about the shepherd from you.
Now the shepherd. Now a reporter said he believed that Esteban's religious conversion was genuine.
Yeah.
Still doing heroin though in jail sometimes.
What?
So you got to do that sometimes. Still doing some heroin.
Wow.
Now 1985 comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a tough moment. This is another brick wall moment for Esteban.
Okay.
He learns that his brother Enrique, his drug partner since day one, his drug dog, has died of AIDS. Yeah, he's a little concerned because they've been sharing needles for years.
Oh, Christ.
He finds out his brother had AIDS. He has himself tested by the prison officials, and he is positive for HIV.
Oh, fuck.
Terrible. He continues. Now he's more depressed, too. He's still doing heroin. And he always shared, they shared tons of them. He said he shared needles with his brother, shared needles with tons of people.
That's how his brother got it.
No, it's fucking crazy, man. So now he's in prison. He has little chance of parole ever. So he said that the heroin, and if I was stuck in prison for life and I had HIV, I'd be doing heroin too.
Absolutely.
Whatever I could get into my system here. Wow, I feel bad for his family.
Oh, my God, I feel so bad for his wife.
Think about 1978.
Yeah.
Big star. He's a huge payday against Iran. Everything's going great. He's a big shot. Everybody likes him. Lots of respect. The kids look up to him. 2 years later, he's a junkie in prison.
With HIV
and a murderer and disgraced,
fuck.
and they have no money. And what a fucking mess, man. His kids and Esteban Jr.
He's got a son walking around with the same goddamn
with
name.
the same name for this whole fucking thing, man. And also, too, everybody looked up to him around there. There's kids that idolized him. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I really do. You didn't think I was going there on that one. I fooled you. But not nearly as bad as I feel for Esteban de Jesus, Presidente and Comercial Danny. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's in the Dominican Republic, and it says warehousing.
Great. He's the president of warehousing.
He's into warehousing. Esteban de Jesus, a CMS teller at Loomis, which is a bank in the greater San Diego area. And Esteban de Jesus, a 6-year-old Colombian boy who needs your help over at Bridges of Hope International. They say, according to them, sponsoring a child is a personal way to show God's love to a child in need. For $25 a month, you'll help that child and their community to stand tall, free from poverty. And then later on, there's an update that says Esteban got sponsored.
Yeah.
And it says, quote, Esteban's grades have improved a whole point in Spanish and mathematics. Strong work, Esteban.
Great.
Good for you, Esteban.
$25 got him 1 point.
I
thought you were going to say Esteban's grave.
In medical school now.
I thought you were going to say his grave is located.
His grave is located. Poor guy.
Giving us his plot location.
Man. Jesus Christ.
Because he didn't get sponsored.
No.
Right.
So he did get sponsored there. So, by the way, HIV in Puerto Rico at this point, not great. It was pretty much 4 times the death rate there was 4 times that of the U.S.
Wow.
With HIV there. So not too terrific there. 1988, he's showing increased symptoms.
Oh, boy.
He stopped doing the sermons. He would forget passages from the Bible because now he's got brain damage and AIDS. So he's not doing great. And this is full-blown AIDS at this point. He'd be lucid a lot of times, but then he would get emotional for no reason. He would laugh for no reason or cry for no reason, just out of nowhere.
I mean, if you got AIDS,
it would just be
prison,
like,
I'd just cry all day long.
But it would be like at something that wasn't, be like, hey man, your Pop-Tart's ready, and he'd start crying. Like that's not a fucking reason. Like that's a weird thing to cry at, shit like that. I don't know if they had Pop-Tarts.
Right.
He was down beneath 115 pounds by this point.
Wow.
Lesions you could see on him.
Fuck.
He would be delusional and would be mad because he waited for hours because he thought his wife and his kids were visiting on days that they weren't visiting.
Wow.
That sort of thing. Or other people, friends of his he thought were supposed to be coming that didn't come.
Fuck.
It was really, really difficult, man. He was extremely ill. Things were going well, or not well for him.
Right.
He said, quote, this is by February of 89.
That was really heartless, James.
What?
He's really ill. Things are going well.
Things are going well. I meant to say things are going not well. And, He says, quote, the doctors tell me that I have anywhere from 1 to 4 years to live, but I hope God will support me longer.
Mm-hmm.
This poor guy, man. 1989, he's fighting to have his sentence commuted to die not in prison.
Yeah.
March 30th, 1989, Puerto Rican Governor Rafael Hernandez Colon granted immediate parole eligibility for De Jesus. to be he's on the condition that he's transferred to the Faith Home of the Americas where AIDS patients are treated.
Right.
He can't even move.
It's not a parole. It's a parole. It's a mercy parole to die somewhere with dignity.
And the governor said it was compassionate and also practical because it would be really hard to keep him in the prison hospital.
It's fucking expensive.
With that. And that was the other thing he said, and it would be whatever. So they said he couldn't fake the symptoms. They didn't, they knew he was sick, basically.
Can't fake the symptoms. We have a positive AIDS test. Jesus.
Yeah. He said, "Oh God, man, the reporter that came to him, the Garcia guy, said, quote, when I visited him, he was already skinny, really skinny. His skin was wasted. He was maybe 115 pounds. And 2 or 3 months after that, who knows? So it's terrible here. Now, you have to remember, by the way, that this is the time, this is in the 80s, and this is also in Puerto Rico, and it was like that here, never mind there. If you had AIDS, it wasn't okay.
Yeah.
That it was, people would say you were gay.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Yeah. And that was not okay back then.
No.
It wasn't like now you're like, oh shit, poor guy.
Right.
That was like, oh, that was considered a dirty, scummy, and even he wanted people to know that he got AIDS with needles and not through fucking. He wanted everyone to know, hey, I'm not gay, because back there. But it was seriously considered such a fucking, people were so touchy about that. And I know that for a fact. My friend Rod Beck, the baseball player, he was one of the San Francisco Giants have Until There's a Cure Day. Right. And it's a day about this, about, trying to help AIDS and all that sort of thing, AIDS research. He was one of the people that started that pushed to start it in 1993 because he felt fucking terrible for kids that had AIDS that were treated like shit.
Right.
And he felt like nobody would get behind them. I talked to him about this for hours. He felt like nobody would get behind these kids because they didn't want to be, you don't want to be down for a gay cause if you're an athlete back then. So he said, I didn't give a fuck. He goes, I didn't care. And there's pictures of him with these kids and he's holding them. And he goes, I'll pick these little kids with AIDS up. I don't give a shit. Kiss them right on the cheek. He goes, you want to call me gay? Call me fucking gay. I don't care. I'm helping kids.
Right.
Like, he didn't give a shit. But I mean, it took a lot. And especially in Puerto Rico, there's a machismo thing there.
Sure.
You really don't want to be gay.
Right.
It's a totally different thing. People came to see him. Orlando Cepeda came to see him. People like that, very famous people from the island. The biggest thing that happened, though, is when he hears about it, Roberto Duran comes to see him.
Really?
Roberto Duran feels terrible. He said he was... that was his rivalry of his. The guys that have a rivalry like that are connected.
Yeah.
They have a real connection
Forever.
with it. He said he put all the fear aside. He took his wife and his kids there, and he made a big fucking spectacle of doing this. And this was a really fucking really ballsy, great, fucking awesome move that Roberto Duran did. For all the cameras, so everybody could see, he picked him up off the bed and hugged him and kissed him on the face.
Wow.
To show everybody this is a human being.
Right.
And
it's still a person.
It's a person, and you don't act like he's a fucking disease like that. And it was really awesome that he did that. And it's a huge deal. Really? This picture is... you can still just Duran de Jesus kiss. Look at right now. It's popped right up. It's such a famous thing. De Jesus looks like emaciated to nothing.
Really?
And Duran's like hefty, and he's just picking him up, holding him in his arms, and giving him a kiss.
Too bad.
And it's the saddest fucking thing ever. But you really respect Roberto Duran for that. Roberto Duran said, quote, when I see him there so thin, my tears run out because he used to be a muscular guy. I start crying and hug him, and I kiss him, and I tell my daughters to kiss him.
Oh, that's
so he's
nice.
telling everybody, and he wants pictures of it for everybody because he wants it to be there.
He said that shit in Spanish, though, because that was so broken.
That was very broken.
Beautiful, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. Oh, it's good for him, man. What a nice guy here. April 22nd, 1989, he's in an abandoned milk factory that's been converted into a rehab center for drug addicts. And he's in a room with 17 other guys, all AIDS infected former drug addicts. He gets free treatment and all that sort of thing, but it's tough for him, man. He's down to 90 pounds by this point. He looks like they just sprung him from Auschwitz. It's horrible. A person there said, one of the residents there said, quote, you look into his eyes and you see sorrow. Terrible. May 12th, 1989, Esteban dies of AIDS, finally, mercifully. Yeah, he dies of AIDS here. So that's tough there. After his death, It's the Viruet guy who was pissed off about the Don King payoff. He says that DeJesus was a family man and a beautiful soul, and he says he still sees Victor, one of DeJesus's older brothers, in the Bronx where they live.
Really?
This was like 10 years ago. This was. Chu Garcia, the writer that we talked about, said, quote, he was a great husband, a great brother, a great son, a great father, and a great friend, but unfortunately he had that problem.
Yeah.
And he did.
The drug problem.
The drug problem.
He was
Can't
really
get enough.
great at it, though.
He was great at it, just like boxing. Can't get enough, like he couldn't get enough of cocaine and heroin. Go to Joe Sports Inc. for a signed photo of him. It's a promotional photo of DeJesus in a fight pose. Signed. It's signed to somebody.
Oh.
It's old as shit. I mean, died in 89. It's signed, quote, to Netture, Netture, a future champ, Esteban DeJesus.
Has a little bit of AIDS on it.
A little bit of AIDS juice on that, so you want to watch out. $285 for that.
Yeah, of course. You can't
boy.
Get another one.
No.
It's got rare AIDS juice.
Oof, man, that's the best AIDS juice. It's AIDS and cocaine, so that's going to cost you, too. Also, heavyweight.collectibles.com, Roberto Duran and Esteban DeJesus photo.
Cool.
It's not signed. It's a cool photo. They're standing like at a podium press conference thing, and there's Esteban smiling, and he's got his right hand up like his fist to Duran's chin, and Duran's like got like his tongue out and his eyes rolled back, like, oh, you got me.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's a thick smiling Puerto Rican girl standing between them, right between, like, laughing and happy, like, oh, this is so much fun.
This
like
is
they're
so
all fucking
silly.
around. It's great. She had no idea about the AIDS, so she knew about that. She wouldn't have been so fucking happy,
or so goddamn close,
She would have been 3 steps back. That is Esteban DeJesus.
Wow.
Holy shit, that is a crazy goddamn story.
What a story.
That's a wild story, man, from start to finish.
I'm blown away.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Last week we had the Jake kind of recovering from that, and then this week I would show the opposite side of it.
Complete fucking downhill.
Downhill, and this is what could have happened to Jake. Who knows? This could happen to anybody.
Could have gotten AIDS, Jake.
This is the thing. Shit, if you like this story, I don't know, get on iTunes.
We could do that.
Don't get AIDS from needles.
No,
don't do that.
No.
But do get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. It would help us a ton on the business end, so please do that. Just say you're following instructions, following directions. If you want to be an even bigger superstar, a wonderful superstar,
you can do that.
You can do that by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports and making a donation there, or going to PayPal using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. We'll take every dime, and it's so appreciated. It really makes the show run.
It does.
It does, man. You can also go over to crimeinsports.threadless.com. By the way, new black shirts finally.
Yes.
Black shirts with white writing. We've been working on doing that. Finally, black shirts. Everything will be available in black as well. Right. So please do that. Get your "you sir may fuck off" or your "yay" or get whatever the hell you want. Do all of that over there. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can do that in several ways.
Yes.
Instagram and Twitter. You can do @CrimeInSports, CrimeInSports@gmail.com, Facebook.com/CrimeInSports.
There you go.
We're goddamn everywhere where there is crime in sports. That said, never mind all that garbage. By the way, live shows, don't forget that.
Yes.
The links are in the show description. But besides all that, let's get to the important part, the superstar producers that make this show work. Jimmy, why don't you hit us with those right now?
Unbelievably, every week, Chrissy Ann Castaldi, Jess Landgren, and Sarah Gilbo are fantastic people, and you guys are so sweet, and we really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Andrea Ramey, Mitchell Bowler, Joshua Cobb, Autumn Allen, Jeanette Klum. No, that is not Klum. God damn, I'm a child and can't write. Num, is that a KNCM? No,
what?
It's not. I don't know what I did.
KMCM is not a last name.
No, it's not. I don't know what I did to Jeanette's last name.
I don't know what country that would be from.
There's no way I can pronounce that.
Everyone has at least one vowel, don't they?
Is it HOLM? That's Jeanette Holm. That's
Holm.
who that is.
Makes much more sense.
Unbelievable. Derek Hillenberg, Ted Cyrus, Brandon Shaw, Sarah Martin, Stacy Huffaker, James Cook ×2 this week. Thank you, James.
Man.
You're an amazing dude. Robert Dye, the hypnotic librarian. I'm not sure what that is. Google that.
Hey.
I hope it's a business. I'm not sure at all. Hannah Risley, Matthew Madigan. I hope so. That'd be amazing.
Teresa, the fucking hypnotic librarian.
Right.
What's up?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Teresa,
he's a terrible rapper, though.
Teresa Shushenflug.
He just says "what's up" over and over
it's
again.
Just constant.
I love this Shushenflug name because we knew that was going to kill you. Sarah actually saw that and went, "I love it when Jimmy has to pronounce this one."
Is it PF? Is that flug? Is that plug? Shushin. I got Shushin. Shushin. Fuck it. Adrian Overall, Jessica Chase, Katie Heisel, thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie, for your charts and your graphs and your help and your donations.
She sends us donations and time between the shit that she makes.
Thank you.
Katie,
you're the best,
terrific.
Katie.
And we'll see you this April. Thank you so much. Sherry Holland, Luke Haransky, Karansky, shit. Tristan Stevenson, Kathleen Thill. Thank you, Kathleen, for being a part of this every goddamn week.
Always. We love
Melissa Neufeld, Jane Richards, Claudia Schertle, Timothy Young, Jacob the Zookeeper sends me snaps of like the dude's a zookeeper and he gives me like close-ups of the bears' fucking faces. Like right? No.
Before you go to the close-ups, like the bears fucking, it's awesome. Why would you want pictures of the bears fucking?
Right in its face. It's like the best.
That's awesome.
It's fucking incredible. I don't even have to throw him Zagnuts.
Great outdoors again, baby.
Tara Hayes, you're fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an unbelievably kind gesture. Thank you so much. Emily Allen, Nathan Nolte. I don't know. I hope that's a relative of Nick. I really want that. I don't know why. Nick's such a great. I love that man so much.
He's hilarious.
He's fantastic, and I want his family listening to this.
Jesus Christ.
That's all he does. He grunts in every movie and then curses through it.
Is that Patton Oswalt joke of Nick Nolte playing Han Solo? That was the best. It was a joke of Patton Oswalt's old stand-up. It was Nick Nolte playing Han Solo. It'd been like, Christ, Luke, the goddamn, for Christ, Jesus, fucking, the goddamn Wookiees in the fuck. Jesus, Christ.
That's fantastic.
God damn it.
Christopher Reed, I hope that's Kid and Play.
Yeah. That's Kid.
I want that to
Come
be
on,
really bad.
That would be great if it was Kid.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah, I love House Party.
Leslie Root, June Johnson, Gretchen Oswald. Gretchen Oswald. Lauren Odom, Shelby LeSueur, John Moody, Melissa Hoover, Keegan Bosch, Michelle Jolly. She's fantastic.
Australia.
Yeah, she's in Australia. She's so
Thank
sweet.
you.
Brandon Warney, or Warren. I think it's Warren. He's in Minnesota. He does the Midwest Swing podcast. He donated this week. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. And then I guested on his show, too, if you want to take a listen. Anthony Elbert, Cora Macbeth, Jennifer Brashears, Jessica Skinner, Mariah Menhier, Madeline Berry, Holly Hamilton, S. Wagner. There's no... It's probably Scott. Might be Steven.
Swagner.
It might be Swacker. You never know.
You never know.
David Stanich, Alexia Gordon, Gavin, no last name, Keegan Bowen. Bowen. Sure, Bowen.
We'll go Bowen.
Sam Lichtenstein. That was fucking impressive.
Lichtenstein's a place,
Can you
though.
clap for me? Fuck.
You should. That's a place.
Really? I don't know what that place would be.
Jesus Christ. We got to get Jimmy a map. And
maybe
Sam
doesn't. Maybe Sam's just from Liechtenstein.
Maybe he's from Liechtenstein. Sam from Liechtenstein.
Maybe. Chris Reed again. Cody McCall. Molly, no last name. Emma Osteen. Leah Maddox. Stephanie Fisher. Jessica Hastillo. Vicky Frederick. Junior Mitchell. Junior Peeler. Junior.
Oh.
Or Beeler.
They listen.
Yeah.
They know the
Junior
juniors.
Mitchell Jr. Beeler Jr. That's
so
who
it's
it is.
Mitchell Beeler.
Right, Mitchell Beeler the second.
Possibly a junior. At least once.
Larry Mosca. Nicole, fucking hell. She donated twice, too.
Oh, thanks, Nicole.
Dina Burks? What the shit is that last name? Dainzer. I don't know why I put a B in it. There's no B in that name. Dainzer. I don't know. I'm sorry, Nicole. Your last name's a fucking brutal one.
When I sit here and watch him try to read the names, it's great because it's like watching a child try to open a package that has those like twist tie things and they don't know they're there and they just keep trying to pull it and they're just like so confused. That's what Jimmy's doing. He doesn't get it. And you have to come in with scissors and go, hold on, clip, and they go,
it's Dainzer.
Oh, the eye's silent. Okay, I see.
Trevor Corey, Camilla Herrera, Megan McMahon, Hannah Risley, Melanie Harrison, Jake LeBeer, Jake LeBeer, Tracy Kelly Van Dyke, Wilnia Merced, Amanda Howell, Lizzie Goldstein, Bliss Bednar. I think that's right. Mandy McMaster, Jill Roth, Lisa Copeland, Nicole Redshaw. It's a D, Redshaw. Damn it. AJ Vera. God, how am I fucking so stupid? Lindsay Zimmerman, Judith Keel, Jenny Walker, Miriam with no last name, Lee Nemeth, Kathleen Snyder, Michelle Bowman. Where was I at over here? Nathan Damn it, Nathan.
It's all your fault, Nathan.
Nathan Hibbett. Lizzie Tebow, Jem Vasquez, Vicky Frederick, I already said that one. Alexia Malloy, Lisa Collins, Michelle Gerber Anderson, Megan Walker. God damn it. It's just
you got it on the comeback. That's all right.
Megan Walker, Eden Finelli, Jordan and Brad Kading.
We got your back, man.
Carolyn Jeffries, Amber Rachel, Angela Banks Mason, Dylan Robertson, David Bouch, Erica Jones, William Hickson III, Nicole Davis. I already said that one, but I'm saying it again. Chester Coffin, Lisa and Colin Young, Amanda Stamp, Alexa Trockelman. Fuck yeah. It's just Alex. God. Trockelman is the last name, and I fuck up Alex.
Yeah, you must the 4-letter first name.
Right. Brandon Griffith, Zach Dubois, Ashley Collins, Daniel Rickles, Cody Spence, and Lindsay Greer. You guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys.
I
Amazing.
really appreciate you being such fucking amazing people, so thank you so much.
Thank you, people, all of you, for your wondrousness and your fantasticness.
Fantastic.
And
thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys, for keeping this going and for making this show worth getting out of bed in the morning. Thank you very much for doing that, guys. And Jimmy, what if one of these fine people not only wanted to help us, but wanted to maybe talk to a guy like you? How would they do that?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Find me and play along. I appreciate it, you guys.
Definitely. And you can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can copy and paste just my name from the show description and do it that way because it's a little easier because it's long and there's an I in there.
It is.
Do that. It's a mess. Do that, guys. And keep coming back next week and seeing us more. We had a great time. Wild story. More next week. Live show, Boston. Do that.
See you guys Thursday or Friday.
Friday, Detroit.
Friday and Sunday.
See you there. See you there. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Web support.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.